Holly Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
Here we go.
From the Busch Light Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Well, this town is a pigskin paradise.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
He's catching a lot of wild balls. That separates receivers right there, is who can catch contested passes and who can catch the one that's unbelievably hard to catch. He seemed to have been able to do that. I've been pleased with Armstrong, like I talked about, and Sategna and Bryce and those guys as well.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You guys know I am a student of pop culture.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Hey, welcome into a What's Your Beef Wednesday edition of the Morning Rush. You heard Sam Pittman talking about Isaac Tesla and some other Arkansas wide receivers. He does not have Tyrone Broden just yet. Tyrone's dealing with some injury stuff right now. Don't know if he'll be ready for Saturday or not. I know there's plenty of guys that you want to see in action or listen to Chuck and Quinn and Gino this Saturday because spring game. It's exciting. I know that it's not the typical spring game that we're used to over the years. They're going to do things a little differently this Saturday, and we'll touch on what Sam Pittman had to say about it coming up. But we still do have it in front of us. We saw a baseball team last night wax the Little Rock Trojans 21-5. Was not really a game after the first inning. Tommy, you were saying it nearly lasted an hour.
I think it was.
When you were looking at
I looked at my watch when it was over. And I think it was 7:23 when the first inning concluded. So, I mean, yeah, it was. I believe but it was nearly an hour to get out of the first inning. But when you have 11 combined runs and Arkansas scored 9, that's how it's going to begin. And they made up for it by not playing the 8th and the 9th inning later on. We're brought to you by the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the country. And it's made right here in the great state of Arkansas. It's the #1 volume lure that they make, and it will help you catch crappie. I mean, there ain't nothing better than a big mess of crappie. You can work it under a light jig head or underneath a float. You'll find it to be as productive as live bait. Get you a bag of Bobby Garland Baby Shad at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Also got the Masters ratings that we'll get into later on. Chuck's going to join us in about 30 minutes. Isaiah Joe, Patrick Beverly, let's see who else is in action. Jalen Williams, Moses Moody, and Bobby Portis. NBA playoffs, some Arkansas Razorbacks are included. There's an interesting development with what's going on in Duke with their star player, Kyle Filipowski, who elected to come back to school. I want to tie that in to some of the guys that are playing right now. But to the spring game, to football, where everyone can always talk football in this state on Arkansas Sports Talk Radio. We'll get into the player or particular player that we want to see coming up. But, I mean, how different is this than, say, 10 years ago, typical spring game? What differences are we going to see on Saturday?
I don't know that I mean, what do you mean by different? I mean, I don't think the format might have a little subtleties, but I don't think we're going to learn any more than we did 10 years ago or any less. Well, I think all these have always been guarded, staged, scripted, practices. I mean, we can call them games, but they're practices. But, I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a huge amount of difference than what we saw 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 15 or 20 years ago.
Well,
I mean, you go back a little further, they had an actual game and got after it, and the quarterback wasn't protected, but now you're going back, 30 years.
Mm-hmm. I would say that they're definitely doing less and less, and I would expect again on Saturday there to be less than 5 or 10 years ago than there's ever been. And not like, as Tommy just said, it's not like you divulge the whole playbook or played everything. But, I mean, spring game to me back in the day, not way back in the day, but years ago, it felt like more as a game than what I'm expecting on Saturday.
Here's one thing that is different today versus 10 years ago is there's more players in protected jerseys. more players in the green jersey or the non-contact jersey. It was pretty much the quarterback, and that was it 10 years ago. And if you couldn't take contact as a free safety or a strong safety, you just didn't play. Now you got guys that are off limits in practice, and you got to practice smart. And Coach Pittman, and we've heard other coaches talk about that, but that would be one of the differences. I think you notice, you see it in the fall as well. I always wonder, they seem to figure it out. How do you get ready for contact? And I don't know if the spring is the time, but this happens in the fall where quarterbacks won't get hit till game one. Sometimes wide receivers that are a little dinged up, they won't get hit till first game. And I understand protecting your best players. But I've always wondered, how do you actually get ready for full contact when you don't practice full contact?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a question I think many could ask. And I think about what Darren McFadden and Felix Jones, who are rarely tackled. And Darren, a lot of times, again, my favorite player, but had fumbling issues. I think about the LSU game, he fumbled the ball 3 times. And when you're not consistently getting hit or consistently getting rocked around a little bit like you are during the course of an SEC game, sometimes that initial hit jars you a little bit.
The biggest argument for that was that USC game when Felix had all those fumbles after nobody got hit leading up to that 06 season. But that year still turned out all right. So still turned out fine. But that's probably, if you want to say, hey, what will you learn now versus 10 years ago? I don't know what a great answer to that question is, but I'd say there's probably fewer players taking full contact. You seem to have a few more players around, but I don't know. I mean, you got some of these freshmen that are on campus already for spring that 10 years ago was less common. But I don't know if there's a huge amount of differences in what you're seeing.
That's the biggest thing to me, if I had to pick on something, is I think Shamar Easter, and I think there's only a couple other players that are on campus. If I remember that right, I got to go back and double-check the roster. But the kid from Maryland that's not here just yet, the transfer, and then there might be another one or two. But I would say the freshmen that are early enrolling nowadays that you get more of at least a glimpse of. I know for fans, you get to watch a little of the highlight videos on YouTube that different publications put up, and you get to watch a little bit of the spring game. But seeing these guys even earlier than you would, because you didn't really see any of them back in the day, because a good chunk of them did not early enrollee. That was not a thought in the college football world, but now it's changed, and now I would say more than 75% of the classes each year for most college football programs, the freshmen are early enrollees.
I don't know if it's that high, but I hear what you're saying. The other thing is that the portal obviously brings in transfer players, and we're going to probably see a decent amount of Jacoby Criswell on one team or the other, and my guess is he'll be taking a lot of the second team snaps against the first team defense. I'm not sure exactly how all of the formatting is going to work, but we'll get to see a guy like him that from Morrilton played at North Carolina and or was didn't play a ton at North Carolina, but was at North Carolina, is now here. So players like that, Tesla at wide receiver, Isaac Tesla, and some guys like that. There are a few transfer players like we've talked about that either are dinged up and not going to be ready or haven't made it to campus yet.
Pittman said, here's the format: 9 to 12 plays, 1 versus 2, then 2 versus 1, then 1v1, then 2v2, then 3v3. He said that in the press conference yesterday, and he's allowed to deviate from that. He can mix it up and change it up on Saturday, but that's at least what he initially said on Tuesday.
But I mean, we don't know who's. I would assume Criswell's going to be the number 2 quarterback, but that's just a wild assumption on my part. So, but I would assume we're going to see a good bit of him at quarterback on one team or the other.
And you want to see production, because you didn't have that at the backup quarterback position last year. You hope Cade Fortin's a little bit improved, and he's going to be battling out with Criswell for that second spot. I think a lot of fans are under the assumption that Criswell is going to win that spot. I can't tell you enough, because I haven't seen enough of them throwing the football in practice and whatnot. That's just the fan assumption at this point in time. But you're excited about a couple players. We'll talk more about those coming up.
Brought to you by World of Wireless. Another big weekend coming up with Tennessee coming to town, spring game, all of that. You need a good TV setup with Dish. And if you've cut the cord a while back and you're just not satisfied with the streaming experience, maybe your internet's not quite strong enough to keep up if you live in a rural area, make the move back to Dish. If you look up what a YouTube or Hulu Live plan is, it's $80 a month anymore. Well, you can get Dish in your home starting at $80 a month. And, man, to me, the biggest difference is the previous button. I'm going to go to the last channel, take it back. It's easy with Dish and their setup. Plus, you get the voice-activated remotes. You get all the free stuff, including movie channels, free installation, whole home DVR, all of it with World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. Lock in your price for 3 years when you call WOW now, 877-305-DISH.
Let's react to that baseball game we saw last night coming up.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
This is former Razorback Jalen Tate, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Remember this top 10 hit from 1983? Boy George, I Think You've Got It. It's Church of the Poison Mind by Culture Club. The culture is continuing to poison the minds of our youth by clubbing them with everything but the truth. But when we heed God's word, He gives us the solution to all the gender confusion. The true poison is believing that evil is good and good is evil. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Technology without the headache.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the used car superstore. Last month, Harry completed the biggest used car sale in store history, and now there are dozens of local trades priced to sell fast. Harry has over 200 late model trucks, SUVs, and cars on the lot. Many are low miles with factory warranty remaining. And as always, nobody will give you more for your trade than Harry Robinson. The used car and truck superstore is Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith and online at harryrobinson.com.
Your home for for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Chuck is a living legend in this state. And anytime I get to talk to Chuck, it's a privilege and an honor to speak to you. And as long as you, Ty, you know you're a little wet behind the ears.
Ball's hit deep in towards left field. Back is Rhodes at the wall. He leaps and it's out of here. And Rhodes almost went over the fence with the baseball. He lost his hat. And it's a 2-run home run for Jace Borfin.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
Man, the baseball team was on one last night. And yes, the competition was not crisp. It was not the utmost thing you'll see all season long, but 9 innings. I saw this stat, Tommy. You were talking about the ninth inning the first inning nearly lasting an hour. Every single guy at bat got to run that inning. Every single guy.
9 runs. So, I mean, it was, after giving up 2 in the top half of the first, no one was worried, but I wish Adcock had gotten off to a better start, but then Arkansas had a strong answer for him in the bottom of the frame. Hey, big weekend coming up at Oaklawn as well. They've got racing for a couple of more weekends through the Kentucky Derby and live racing through May the 6th on the weekends on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This weekend is Apple Blossom Day, the $1 million Grade 1 Apple Blossom Handicap. 4-year-olds and up, going to be a big race this weekend. Also, the Grade 3 $500,000 count fleet, and they'll have the infield open on the weekend as well. So should be a fun time. And don't forget the Oaklawn Handicap coming up a little bit later this month, and everybody getting ready and pointing towards the Kentucky Derby. If you haven't downloaded the Oaklawn Anywhere app, you can do that now. Go to oaklawnanywhere.com for details or bet.oaklawn.com. Use the promo code RUSH23 when you sign up for the first time and get your $150 sign-up bonus. That's RUSH23 for $150 when you download Oaklawn Anywhere to your phone, tablet, or computer.
Only one loss in the history of this baseball program to an in-state opponent. That was Little Rock a couple years ago in 2019. You had brought up to me before this morning that it was the first time they actually played an in-state school.
Yeah, I believe it was down there if I remember. If I'm remembering that right.
And they got the better of you that night, and yet you're still Arkansas baseball. You're still one of the premier programs in all the country because people were freaking out. What if you lose to an in-state school? You're going to lose recruits, blah, 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 story after story. Well, now you're sitting here, and I think you're just fine. You got one more game, 4 o'clock later on today, the Baum-Walker SEC Network Plus, most of these ESPN Arkansas radio stations as well, and then Tennessee comes to town. Now, Hogman tickets I was seeing for Tennessee are starting at about $45 to $50 on Friday, but Saturday it's over $100.
So what would a reserve chairback bring? What would be more valuable to the general public? Ticket for the Hog Pen, or if you had a ticket, say somewhere between the bases, somewhere between third base, first base, just somewhere in that, not necessarily behind home plate, maybe behind a dugout. What would that be worth?
Probably at least $200.
I would think,
right?
Man, big weekend.
It's a big weekend for scalpers. I know people will try and sell it. They're not able to go unless you're a really good friend. You're probably going to try and sell your tickets for a good chunk. I had people reaching out to me this week asking if I had any connections for this weekend. I do not, unfortunately. But you just think
He's got a pocket full, folks. Don't let him fool you.
I wish. But you think about the anticipation for this weekend. You still got to, again, have a decent showing. And I wouldn't be the end of the world if you lost tonight. But is that difficult for a head coach to get his guys focused in baseball compared to football and basketball in anticipation for a big weekend series with the midweek?
I don't know. I mean, I just wonder how much Dave Van Horn's even brought up the name Tennessee or anything about this weekend until he gets through today. I don't.
Mm-hmm. Well, he hasn't, but players have seen it on social media.
Well, I'm just talking about, you ask about preparing and the team. I mean, I can't imagine they've done a lot of work as a team and a lot of conversation yet to this point. I mean, you don't want to waste a lot of your energy preparing too early.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, what I'm saying is, coaches are not bringing up the games ahead, but the players are talking about it. They're thinking about it. So what I'm saying is, how do you keep them focused? And
how do we know the players are thinking about that game?
The upcoming series against Tennessee?
I mean, it's not like they don't know what's happening, but I mean,
so there's coach speak, right, and then there's player speak it. Well, when guys are like, we're just focused on the task ahead, we're just doing it. Like, these guys know who's coming to town this weekend.
Sure they do. I mean, they know what's coming up this weekend, but I mean, at the same time, are you focused on the game yet? I mean, are you watching clips of pitchers or hitters? If you're a pitcher, are you watching hitters yet and really focused on that? Or are you just excited about the atmosphere and the moment and being a part of a big event? I mean, I would think the excitement right now is, hey, I'm gonna be out on that field, and there's gonna be 12,000. They're gonna be packed in here to the gills. The concourse will be full. Every seat's gonna be full. The hog pen's full. It's the biggest thing. I mean, the biggest thing going on. That, to me, that's some excitement if you're involved in a big game, a big series like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as we're sitting down and really trying to figure out how to attack the Tennessee lineup if you're a pitcher, or vice versa if you're a hitter, then I don't know if they've gotten to that point.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about the looking past, the looking ahead, and for those that say they don't do that, I've got plenty of countless, not just in baseball, but there's plenty of examples that you can point to across college sports where a team overlooks another team and it ends up biting them in the rear. Now, a midweek loss against Little Rock tonight's going to not hurt the end of the story or not be the end of this baseball team by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, it doesn't help with RPI and whatnot. I need to go look and see where Arkansas's RPI is at this morning. The important thing is you're at the top of the SEC West. You've got a half-game lead over the LSU Tigers. And if you think about it, the East is stronger right now than the SEC West, with South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Florida all having really, really good records. Tennessee's actually under 500 in conference play right now, which I did not expect heading into this series, but still going to be it's going to be a premier game this weekend, a premier series, as was Ole Miss. I mean, you think what happened in that Ole Miss series, you clobber them the first game, they come back and swat you in the second game, and you got to claw and grind for that third win. And you look on paper like Ole Miss, they'd won one or two conference games to that point, but it took everything you had in that third and final game to get the better of them. Tennessee's not going to come in scared. They're not going to come in intimidated, and they want to win one for their head coach just like you want to win one for yours.
And I have not sat down and looked at, all right, well, who all has Vanderbilt played in Tennessee and really lined it up and compared it to the conference standings. But, we're still just 4 series into this SEC 30-game schedule. And, we know that Arkansas has played a better-than-expected Alabama series at home. We knew that LSU was going to be tough. You get Tennessee in your 5th series. You had Ole Miss last weekend. I mean, you need to compare also, well, who have all these other teams that are at the top played? We know, South Carolina's played some difficult series at this point, but at this point through 12 games, I would assume without looking, not everybody's schedules are even at this point. You don't have enough of a sample size. So I think it's still, even though this weekend will mark the halfway point, maybe still too early to make any declarations about what's great and what's not when schedules probably aren't completely balanced yet, because you haven't seen truly that many opponents.
Arkansas still got some tough series ahead. You got to go to Vanderbilt. You host South Carolina. I know those are two of the premier teams that we're talking about, and how those games shake out, how those series shake out is going to be really important for the Razorbacks' resume when it gets closer to the end of May.
Got A&M coming here as well. Hey, brought to you by Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms in South Fort Smith. They take care of every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry to braces to implants, even cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, making you more confident and just more comfortable each and every time you visit the dentist. Call my friends at Riley Farm Dental. They're at 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Their number is 226-3500. You can call and make your appointment, or just visit online at RileyFarmDental.com.
Chuck Barrett's going to join us coming up. We'll get his reaction to a variety of things. Spring game this Saturday, Masters ratings, this baseball game last night, and a lot more. He's next.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here and HitThatLine.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
As basketball season gives way to baseball, the chill of winter is giving way to the warmth of spring. Now is the perfect time to get your AC system ready for the warmer weather with Pasco. A Pasco Pro tune-up ensures your system is clean and ready to help you stay cool this summer and avoid costly repairs or breakdowns. Right now, beat the summer heat and save $30 off your tune-up. Professional people, professional service, Pasco Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Schedule today at gopasco.com.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while, or if you haven't had the best of experiences with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry. Give her a call at 494-7600. They'll take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today. 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch & Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we've got a great group of people ready to work hard to help you do whatever it is you're trying to do. Maybe you need to buy a car, sell a car, repair a car. Maybe you're just asking for a friend who has a question about a car. We're here to help. All the happiest customers are rolling with Rath. By the way, visit us on Facebook and check out this month's Winning and Grinning Give-A-Palooza. Who knows what you might win? Maybe a Meineke mile service contract or a prepaid maintenance plan or a set of tires. It's fun and it's free, and just one way we say thanks to all of our friends and family who support and promote our business. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. 15 minutes from everywhere, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing, an expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Here's the thing about him. When you watch him out there on the mound, he acts like a closer. He acts like a guy who's going to come in and take control of the ball game. He's got a little strut about him. He's got some swagger. You got to have that. You got to be that guy.
That was Chuck talking about Gage Wood earlier on Monday, and I think there was another guy or two last night that you hadn't necessarily seen a bunch of to this point, but they showed a little bit of that as well. We'll talk some more baseball coming up. Do we want to talk about this upcoming spring game that we heard from Sam Pittman yesterday?
All right, we'll talk to Chuck in just a second. We're brought to you by the Fence Man. They're looking to hire people right now. If you've got construction experience, carpentry experience, welding skills, they're looking to add you to the team. They need people that can help build quality fence. They don't want to build just any old fence. They don't want just some shabby-looking fence. No, they build quality stuff, so they want quality people that know what they're doing. And I know you're out there listening right now. So if you're ready to take on a new challenge, or, hey, the situation you're in is about to come to an end, or you're ready for it to come to an end, call my buddy at the Fence Man, 782-3936. You can stop by their Fort Smith location and apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street. Need a good driving record because they're going to put you in great equipment and make sure you got all the tools and everything you need to build quality fencing. And they're looking forward to visiting with you. 782-3936 or apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
How's your Wednesday treating you so far, Chuck?
Well, so far so good. We're about an hour into it, so no complaints so far.
Hey, it's early. I'm sure you'll have a beef by the end of the day, and we'll.
No, I won't. I'll be fine.
That's
Thank
good.
You, though.
Well, we do have spring football ahead, so I know people are excited about that. You excited to get back in the booth this weekend? I know it's not much of a break after basketball season.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun. Be fun seeing all the guys. That's the thing I like, is working with all the guys. So I'm looking forward to that on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing the team. And I think it's going to be a fun day for our fans. I think that's the thing that, when you look forward to this weekend, you hope, one, the weather's good. And if it is, it's going to be a great day on campus. There are going to be a lot of people that make kind of a spring pilgrimage to Fayetteville for this. And I know a lot of people from other parts of the state that are coming up and just planning to spend the weekend. If you've checked hotel prices, you know that it's a big weekend.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Got a high of 74, Tommy.
Yeah.
It looks like the rain emoji has gone away, which is nice.
That's what I was looking at right now is there was about a half chance of rain, 50-50 shot of rain. That's been removed from the forecast. So that's good. So, yeah, I think it'll be a big weekend. Everybody's scrambling for some Tennessee tickets that doesn't have them, and
Chuck's got plenty.
Oh,
of them.
Chuck's pocket full of them. But it's going to be a fun weekend. I think for the players, particularly we were talking about this earlier, Chuck, in the baseball series. I mean, just the excitement of being a part of a big event. I'm sure when whether it's a football game or postseason basketball or back when you were in baseball, just knowing you were going to announce a big game coming up that weekend, built for the anticipation and the fun of the weekend.
No doubt about it. Absolutely. And it'll be that way for everybody who's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be that way for the guys wearing orange, too. These guys, I can tell you over the years, the one thing that always amazed me, back when Baum Stadium was just Baum Stadium, it was not Baum Walker then, and it was, by comparison, the show place in the league, teams came in here and played their best ball. Because you're excited about playing in this atmosphere. If you're an opposing player, if you're any good, you love it. I mean, you thrive on it if you're a good player. So I would expect Tennessee to come in and meet the moment. I think Arkansas will too, and I think it's going to be a great series.
There's probably nothing more satisfying in sports. While winning on your home field's great. I remember going over there in 2015, just sitting in the stands, went with my wife and some other friends. We went to that Arkansas-Tennessee game. It rained all day, big crowd, and Arkansas gets down 14-0 and walks out of there the winner in Knoxville that night. I didn't have a thing to do with it, but boy, you just felt better about yourself leaving the stadium, watching all those volunteer people with their heads hung down, trying to figure out what happened. How were we up 14? I don't imagine baseball's any different for these players. That it's more satisfying when you go on the road and you spoil someone else's party.
Well, it's very satisfying, I'm sure, for them. And, yes, there is a special feeling when you win in somebody else's place, regardless of the sport. And, when you go, as you say, ruin somebody's party.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a competitor, you love that. And let me tell you something. Tennessee's thinking that.
That's where I was headed. That's on their mind this weekend. Is
absolutely.
These 12,000 going to show up. They're going to roast a pig. They're going to call the Hogs. They love nothing more than everybody be sitting on their hands thinking, what in the hell happened here?
Well, it's going to be a fun series, and that's the thing that I think people will enjoy. There's going to be a big crowd. It's going to be a festive atmosphere. It does sound like the weather's going to cooperate on Saturday, and so I would expect all day long. I would expect it to be this way at the softball game, too. I think it'll be packed. I don't think there'll be any seats available for that game by the time we get there. I think people will navigate there, and they're going to spend the day on the campus. Dads are going to tell stories that kids don't want to hear, and they're going to walk around and they're going to look at people's names on the walk, and their parents are going to tell them about how they used to go down to Dixon Street on Friday night, and the kids are going to roll their eyes. But everybody's going to have a great weekend. It's almost, and boy, Dave Van Horn, I know would cringe for me to say this. For a lot of people coming up this weekend, it's not the outcome that's going to determine whether or not they have a great time. It's just the fact that they're coming to see the Razorbacks on a Saturday in Fayetteville is going to make it a great day.
Chuck, maybe we should meet early Saturday, and we'll go find Ty's name etched in the sidewalk, and maybe get a chalk rubbing.
Hey, I'll bet Ty could take us there, as he should. As he should. He should be able to take us right to it.
Don't find my name up there.
It's near Dixon Street, as it should be.
Probably should be on Dixon Street.
How much of those stories?
You did graduate Itapekega, didn't you?
I had a.
You have one of them chords. It wasn't really a chord, was it?
I had a great GPA at the University of Arkansas. It was over a 3.7. Thank you very much.
He had the kind of GPA that gets you into radio.
I think he had more of an IPA than a GPA.
People were amazed that, man, you had that GPA and you're going into radio with that high? Man, you're undershooting. Chuck,
1.8's not that high.
How much do those stories get embellished over the years? I listen to my dad. I've listened to my grandpa. I've listened to other friends' dads. I mean, how much do those stories get fabricated and maybe touched a little bit than what actually happened the older you get?
Well, the older you get, the better you were. And that's just kind of how it works. And so I'm sure that the stories that they tell will have them as the lead character, even though in reality they might not have been. But, that's part of it. Know how it works.
This feels like you're kind of pointing all to a homecoming of sorts because of everything that's going on this weekend. It feels like that. As you said, I've spoken to, again, guys my age that are coming up from Dallas and Nashville and various places. And then I've talked to some of my friends that are a little older that are bringing their kids that are eventually going to go to college and stuff. They're making it a almost homecoming weekend out of it. You guys were talking about the hotel prices, and you could get a 3-for-1. You could hit the football game, you could hit the softball game, and the baseball game. It might cost you an arm and a leg, but the opportunity to go to all three of those games, I think, is at least out there at this point.
I don't think it's going to be a terribly expensive weekend. And I think that's part of the attraction for families. Everything during the day in terms of football, you just walk in. And softball's relatively inexpensive, and I don't think there's going to be anybody, scalping tickets outrageously for a softball game. There will be some on the baseball game, but people will, if they want to go, they'll pay it. And I think, too, and I've seen this the last 24 hours, there's going to be some open, it's the tickets are going to open up, I guess is what I'm saying, over the last 3 or 4 days. People know how it is with baseball. There's going to be a lot of movement. I think everybody that wants to go, if you've got a little bit of savvy about you, you might be able to find a way to get there.
And again, Chuck's got 12 or 15 extra tickets he's looking to give away. We'll get to that later.
I just can't find anyone to take them.
So let's talk about last night, because I turned this game on, get there about 2 batters into the top of the first, and then look up, and the Hogs are down 2-0, and then like an hour later, the Hogs have scored 9 runs and more or less put the game away, Chuck, before the second inning rolled around.
I watched it, at least a lot of it.
A long first inning.
It was a long first inning, and gosh, if this had been a 9-inning game, they might still be there. But it was it just got out of hand early.
Yeah,
it just got out of hand early. Adcock, on the mound, I guess, the first inning he kind of struggled to get through, and that'll happen. But he settled in after that, and when they give you 9 runs in the first inning, you can relax a little bit. So UALR had a tough night. I mean, in all phases, UALR had one of those nights. And I know Chris Curry really well, and he's as good as they come. And I would imagine his team will come out and play better today.
Yeah, and went through took three pitchers to get out of the first inning for
and
UALR.
they took those strikes.
Yeah.
That was the deal. As the game went on, it wasn't like they were taking BP up there. A lot of guys did get hits, but a lot of those guys that scored were put on base.
That's 15 walks. I mean, season high.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, there's not much to analyze here. I mean, UALR had a terrible night, and, Arkansas put them away early, and at the end of the season, this is not one of those games we're going to point back to and say, remember that game.
Now, this was a game like if Chuck was in the booth, and I'm sure for Phil, even being in the outfield doing the game last night, what's not a lot of fun is when you have as many substitutes as Arkansas brought into the game. I think there were 14 different Hogs that went to the plate. This would make a nightmare of a scorebook last night, but the point is Dave Van Horn got a lot of guys some experience in the game last night.
I can remember when I do midweek games and you'd fill out the lineup card, you always wrote a little smaller for the midweek games because you knew you were going to need some more space as the game went on. And I heard them talking about it last night and heard Brett and Troy on the TV side talking about it. And, yeah, it was a game where a lot of people got to play. And, here's the thing that I take out of it as far as this weekend's concerned. And there are other things too, but the biggest thing for me, man, Callie's swinging a hot bat right now.
Ooh.
And he started the weekend at Ole Miss batting 196. And his average after 2 hits last night's up to 242. So here's a guy that's raised his batting average about 50 points over the course of 4 games. Now, that can happen early in the season. But, to me, that's a hot bat right now. And I'll just be very honest. I mean, there are going to be weekends where Arkansas has got to score runs. There's going to be weekends where, man, they got to put some tallies up there. And so to have a guy swinging a hot bat going into a big series, I think is good. He's not the only one, but he's the one that had not been that is now.
And here's one of those runs that got him going last night.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, and a hard ball through the left side. A base hit for Cali ties the game. Here comes Borfin with a go-ahead run. A 2-run single for Caleb Cali, and it's only 5 batters into the bottom of the first. Hogs lead 3-2.
I mean, you just laid that out. That's almost 50 percentage points. That's crazy how much it's gone up to that. And what David said, I remember him getting asked about that after the game. He's like, we knew he had it. You just got to give him confidence. Well, Chuck, he's got the confidence right now in the middle of SEC play.
Yeah, it had been kind of feast or famine with him. There's a difference sometimes of being a power hitter and being a good hitter. Early in the season, 196, you knew every pitch had the potential to go out of the ballpark. But, hitting a $196, you are what you are. So, again, I think it's really encouraging to see what he's done the last 3 or 4 ball games. Now, he's not the only one. There are others, too. And this is a good team. It is not a team chock full of guys that make you go, wow, every night. It is not. There's not a Dylan Cruz on this team. There's not a guy that you walk away thinking, man, that guy's going to be a first-round pick. But yet here they are. And, it's a team game. And we focus on individuals a lot, and understandably so. But it's about the dub at the end of the night.
And, and they're a 26-6 baseball team. We're going to get to the halfway mark in SEC play. We were talking about balance of schedules earlier, and maybe it's still too early to tell who is really, really good and who's just good in this league. But the one thing I think when you watch Arkansas, and you've watched them closer than anyone over 30 years, you can see it coming with the Dave Van Horn team. There's a lot of headroom, I would say. There's a lot of room for this team to take a few steps forward by the end of next month. And that's what matters, is not playing your best baseball in April. It's playing it late May and June.
Well, it's a game of streaks, and during the course of a long season, you'll go through 2-week stretches where you can't do anything wrong, and you go through 2-week stretches where you can't do anything right. And that's just kind of how the game works. It's how it's always worked, always will. But if you can win ball games and battle through when you're not playing your best, those are the teams that end up playing at home at the end of the year. And, hey, when the weather warms and you actually get into baseball weather, I've always believed that's when the cream rises to the top. And that's when the best teams play their best, when the best pitchers pitch their best. It's when teams that hit well, their bats come alive. And I think Arkansas is that type team. Again, not a team that you look at and go, wow, they got stars everywhere. But, you can play winning baseball. And that's what I see this team doing. And not every time out. but they play a winning brand of baseball. That's why they're 8-4. But when you look at them statistically, they're middle of the pack because some with good teams, even teams with lots of talent, the sum's greater than the parts. And I think when you look at this team right now, there's a lot of good parts, but I think the sum right now is even greater than that.
You mentioned guys not necessarily jumping off the page. What does that say, considering where some fans are still kind of shaky or don't know 100% about this team, and yet they're still first in the SEC West? And that's where
I don't know anybody that's shaky about them. I haven't heard people bring up negative stuff about them. I mean, they want them to win every game, and they gripe when they lose one.
Yeah.
But my gosh, you're 26-6. What do you want?
And that's where I'm coming to. I've still talked to fans my age, older, and whatever, that are still just kind of wondering. And again, people are wondering about Brady Tiger, wondering about some aspects of the pitching as well. But I mean, I still look at it as you just said, 26-6. You're sitting first in the SEC West, and you got a chance to again take on a Tennessee team that you've been looking forward to, not just this season, but really as soon as it was announced on the schedule.
Winning baseball. I mean, you look at what's happened. You lose Wiggins. They've lost a couple of guys during the season they were counting on, including Tigert. They've still not entirely figured out what they're going to do with Hagen Smith. He's obviously pitching, but is he a long-term starter? Is he a relief guy? How do you work that as you move forward? But no, they play a winning brand of baseball. And look, they're going to be tested this weekend. They're going to be, just because this is not number one against number two, doesn't mean they're not going to be tested this weekend. It'll be a severe test. I can
take 2 out of 3 right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just sack the bats. Give me 2 out of 3. You'd take it.
Chuck, on Hagen Smith, that was a question I wanted to ask you, and I think it's contingent upon Brady Tiger and kind of what his things coming back, because we know he closed for this team. And again, Gage Wood stepping in and doing some things I think kind of also raises some eyebrows a little bit. What should they do, in your opinion? I mean, this is you. I want your opinion on this. What should they do with Hagen Smith?
I'm not gonna give you my opinion on that. I've not watched enough of them to say. The way they've done it right now is good enough. I mean, it's good enough. And I'm fine with what they're doing. They know better than I do. That's for sure.
Do you think it's one of those things where you see him at some weekends as a starter and some weekends as a relief guy and closing it out?
It's possible. It's possible.
What do you think?
I think it's too early to tell, and I think also getting some guys back will give Dave some more options. I think it's about options, but here's the thing: we don't know about soreness. We don't know about how their bullpens went. We don't, there's just so much that goes into it that Matt Hobbs and Dave Van Horn know that we don't.
Hey, let me talk to you just for a second, those of you who are buying or selling a home. And let me speak specifically about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. These are the people I partnered with when it was time to buy a home, when it was time to sell that home. These are the people that I went to, and I'm glad I did, because it worked out exactly the way that I hoped it would, both times. And that's what happens when you deal with a pro. It's what happens when you deal with someone who completely understands their business. Training's important. I mean, you can't just throw somebody out there and say, hey, man, go sell a house. I mean, you got to understand your trade. You got to be a master of it. And that's why their training program's the best in the country. Nobody's better than Weicker Realtors when it comes to their training. And that's what benefits you when it comes time to get from the contract to the close, because there are lots of things that can happen in between one and the other. You need somebody to get you to the finish line, and that's what they're best at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith. They're in Branson, Missouri. And you can always log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
Got a chance to listen to Coach Pittman yesterday for about 15 minutes talking about his football team and the scrimmage. We'll talk more about that layout on Saturday, but he did touch on tight ends, and I want y'all to listen to this.
Obviously, we have Shamar Easter coming in as well, but I think we're getting better. I think Ty Washington is getting better. I think Max is getting better. Obviously, we've talked about Has. And to be perfectly honest with you, Hunter Talley's getting better, and Lee and those guys, but it wouldn't be out of the realm that we would entertain to see, because we're playing a lot of 12, a lot of 13. Wouldn't be off the realm to think if somebody came available that we might not be interested.
We saw Ty Washington catch a touchdown in the Liberty Bowl last year. Nathan Bax, if you want to compare to someone at late, would probably be a Blake Kern type, more of a blocking tight end. and then has the incoming true freshman, the highest rated recruit in your class outside of Jalen Braxton, is that someone that he's talked about. But I think that's a position they're going to add based on what he said. He kind of alluded to a little bit. They're still not rock solid there like they want to be, because I think Enos is going to want to run a lot of 2 tight end sets this season based on what he's talked about with personnel.
Well, you may be right. I mean, I thought you were making a statement there. I'm sorry. I mean, you may be right about that.
You know, just when you look at who you've got and you look at the experience and what's coming back, I mean, you're in a situation where, you know, Nathan Bax is your most experienced tight end. And, you know, that's what spring was about. We talked about it going in. Is it will be interesting to see where they maybe put a focus or some attention in the portal. And, you know, I think it will be telling what happens in a week or so.
And he's got less than, you've got his stats right there. He's got less than, 15 catches?
I've just got the raw. I don't have his stats in front of me. I'm just looking at the guys.
Well, you got to have a pass
catcher
at that spot. You got to have a pass catcher at that spot. But you got to have guys who can, you know, you got to have more than one guy. But, yeah, I mean, you got to have a guy who can catch the ball there.
You got 6 guys right now currently at tight end on the roster. And see, 1, 2, 3 of them are either true freshmen or redshirt freshmen. So I mean, it's
a young position group, and I'm really excited about.
Then you had Zach Lee and AJ Matthews, who are redshirt juniors and seniors, but not names that you've heard a lot from. And then Nathan Bax is the guy that probably you're most obviously familiar with, other than the recruiting angle. You know, Luke Haas is a name that you know, but it's not from playing; it's from recruitment.
Yeah,
they brought him into play, though.
Yeah,
I mean, they brought him into play, and I think that's a spot that everybody understood going in, that there's an opportunity to play there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they went out there with the idea that we got to go get a tight end who can come in and play. And they found one.
And I think Easter's more slender than a lot of guys. And, again, has to put on college weight like every other true freshman that gets in a weight program. I think he's going to play a little bit this year. But blocking, I think, is going to be an issue just like it is for every other true freshman. I want to see how much they play Easter in some of those roles, because that kid is a matchup nightmare at 6'5". I don't know if he'll play right off the bat as a true freshman, but I like his ceiling of what he could be at Arkansas.
Certainly has that potential. You're exactly right. And, you know, great athlete, good player, and those are the kind of guys you need.
We were talking earlier about the differences in what you see in these spring setups now versus 10 or 15 years ago. I was saying, Chuck, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, you know, it seems like more guys are in the protected jerseys, a little more cautious about your playmakers on both sides of the ball. It used to be just the quarterback was the one that took no contact. Now it seems like you're just trying to get through this and make sure nobody gets hurt.
Well, you know, in spring ball, you're trying to find out sometimes what guys can do. You already know what these guys can do. You already know what they bring to the table. And so the idea that you run them out there and, you know, put them through a grueling spring, that's kind of silly. Now, you know, the one thing that I will say, too, is, you know, in the modern era of college football, you got these guys pretty much year-round. You control their conditioning and their nutrition and all that stuff year-round. So whether it be in spring ball, whether it be in August, I mean, you're getting guys who are in shape. They're in shape when practice starts. So it's not as though you've got to go through a period there of getting guys back into football shape. And you know what these guys can do. I mean, and look, with all that's on the line every Saturday in the fall, and, you know, we spent half our time talking about how much KJ needs to run. Well, you get him hurt. You know, the idea that you'd get Rocket or somebody else hurt in the spring, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that ruins your season and gets you fired.
Yeah. So it'll be fun Saturday, just after 12 o'clock. We'll have the game for you right here on all of these ESPN Arkansas stations. We're brought to you by APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group. They have immediate openings to join their team right now in Northwest Arkansas, also in Boone, Marion, and Baxter counties in North Central Arkansas as well. If you're a licensed CDL driver, you got construction skills, you've got paving and concrete finishing skills, you're a diesel mechanic, you've worked in a quarry, they've got all kinds of jobs. Go online at jobs.crh.com. See all of the openings, top pay, sign-on bonus, great benefits package. That's jobs.crh.com.
Scott for Leaf Guard of Arkansas. When it's springtime in Arkansas, it's raining. And I talked to meteorologist Zach Scott, and he tells me that April is one of the highest average rainfall months in Arkansas. May I recommend some Leaf Guard gutters to you? You see, not only is Leaf Guard gutters the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system on the market guaranteed to never ever clog with all that muck and mud and shingle grit, but with Leaf Guard, quality and durability are built in to handle 32 inches of rain per hour. That's 3 times more than ever recorded by the National Weather Bureau. Now, if we ever do get 32 inches of rain an hour, we better start building another ark. Leaf Guard Gutters of Arkansas is having home improvement days in April. $500 off a complete Leaf Guard system. New orders only. Minimum purchase required. Some restrictions may apply, but that's all the stuff that you can ask your sales associate about. Oh, and ask him to give you info on the 18 months no interest financing. Senior and military discounts are available as well. See if you qualify. Home improvement days at Leaf Guard of Arkansas. $500 off a complete Leaf Guard system. Hit them up at 501-664-5400 or leafguardandmore.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas, in-office or telemedicine visits available. So to schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical professionals for safe and effective weight loss while also reducing cardiovascular risk factors, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the used car superstore. Last month, Harry completed the biggest used car sale in store history, and now there are dozens of local trades priced to sell fast. Harry has over 200 late model trucks, SUVs, and cars on the lot. Many are low miles with factory warranty remaining. And as always, nobody will give you more for your trade than Harry Robinson. The used car and truck superstore is Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith and online at harryrobinson.com.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Phil Hicks in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
As basketball season gives way to baseball, the chill of winter is giving way to the warmth of spring. Now is the perfect time to get your AC system ready for the warmer weather with Pasco. A Pasco Pro tune-up ensures your system is clean and ready to help you stay cool this summer and avoid costly repairs or breakdowns. Right now, beat the summer heat and save $30 off your tune-up. Professional people, professional service, Pasco Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Schedule today at gopasco.com.
Springtime is around the corner and tax rebates are here, and River Valley Truck Outfitters is ready to help you get your vehicle looking good. Window tints, bed covers, and more. Steps from Power Step to black and chrome lifts and level kits. River Valley Truck Outfitters will get your vehicle looking good on Highway 71 at the top of Rye Hill, where you can get your special wheels, tires, and more. Your #1 stop truck accessory store, 648-8855. That's 648-8855.
Jersey Mike's, now open in Fort Smith on Phoenix, believes in the value of ingredients, premium meats, the freshest vegetables, and delectable bread baked throughout the day. And then there's the juice that elevates your sandwich to the highest level. You'll taste the difference in every bite. Jersey Mike's subs are perfect for catering the office or your next tailgate party. Their cookie and brownie trays are the perfect finale to any type of gathering. Fresh baked daily, right there in the store. Jersey Mike's, the best submarine sandwich on the planet, always.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. Our high temperatures will be right around 75 degrees. We are looking at clear skies and upper 40s tonight. Thursday, sunny skies. Our high will be right around 75. And then Friday, we will wind down this week with plenty of sun. Our high temperatures upper 70s to near 80 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
He's catching a lot of wow balls. That separates receivers right there, is who can catch contested passes and who can catch the one that's unbelievably hard to catch. He seemed to have been able to do that. I've been pleased with Armstrong, like I talked about, and Sategna and Bryce and those guys as well.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You guys know I am a student of pop culture.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
So we got some text already about Peyton Holt and Harold Cole, who both had good games last night for the Arkansas Razorback. Holt's a Greenwood kid. Harold Cole is the kid from San Juanito or whatever. He played out there at a college in California. I think he's from Boston, Massachusetts originally, if I remember that right. But I want to talk about what Dave Van Horn had to say about them coming up in just a sec.
Hey, we're brought to you by Modular Orange and Carmen and Jill and Jordan Carmen and Jill and the crew over at Matchstick Studios. I was with a friend of mine yesterday helping them get their website done. And Modular Orange is beginning the process of rebranding and recrafting, if you will, their website and basically starting from scratch and building them a brand new website on the Modular Orange platform. It's an easy decision for a business that, hey, I don't have time to mess with my website. It's important to me. And this is a business that doesn't do retail on their website, but they just need a really good presence online that can be updated as needed. And for $95 a month, it's a no-brainer. You don't have to stop and think anymore about it. Call my friends at Modular Orange and see their work online at modularorange.com, 479-755-3043. I was really impressed with the process, set in on the kickoff call, and they had all the right questions to ask. Got all the information, and they're going to get their website built and go live in just a few weeks. So it's exciting for them and painless as well. And again, only $95 a month. ModularOrange.com, or again, call them in their Fayetteville office, 479-755-3043.
So Peyton Holt had some great fielding plays last night. And then Harold Cole had a couple big-time plays as well, including that two-run shot.
The pitch to Cole is launched deep into center field. That one's going to go out of here, just to the left of our broadcast area in the hog pen.
Here's Dave Van Horn on him after the game.
He's very confident. You know, he's a good hitter. The bat hasn't really been a big question for us. It's always been the defensive side of it. And, you know, Johnny's just been so solid out there, Bolton. And the bat it's just good to see Cole when he gets in the game and hit like that. Because, you know, he played the Auburn series, and then we played him a little bit more and it didn't go real good. And then that's when Callie started picking it up, had a really good weekend. And, so we just wanted to get Cole some time at short. He did a nice job.
The issue with Cole's not hitting, as you heard Dave just say, it's his fielding. He's had some errors this year that make you scratch your head a little bit. And he's a guy that at least at the plate has been very, very efficient to this point, as you saw last night. And I know he's in these type of games, you look for guys to step up, and Dave was talking about earlier this week trying to get some guys some playing time. Thought he made the most of it last night.
No doubt. And, you know, you look at a guy like that, and after a game like this, the thing you wonder is, hey, could we use him as a pinch hitter this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you get into a situation where, maybe maybe the guy that's playing that day's not having a good day, and maybe you're in a late inning situation and, you're in a spot there with a couple of guys on and, man, you really need a hit. And he might be a guy that you bring to the plate. He might be a guy that can extend an inning or drive in a run. And, that's what I wonder about when I see some of these players that don't play regularly on the weekends have a big day at the plate in the middle of the week is, are we going to see that guy up in, what they call a leverage situation, what I call a clutch spot? Are they going to have that guy at the plate in that situation? And so that is one of the things, frankly, coming out of the ball game last night that I wonder about going into the weekend is, could we see him at the plate a time or two?
2 years ago was Charlie Welch. Last year's more Kendall Diggs than anything. What else does Cole have to do, you think, to earn that kind of right? Because those guys earned it last year, you think, Tommy?
Well, you just keep hitting. I mean, every time you come to the plate, you're a tough out. Every time you come to the plate, you find a way to get on. I'm not saying you're going to do it 1,000%, but, you're a tough out. You're a guy that can get a hit. And so if you show that, hey, if you want to play, hit well. I mean, that's just how it is. Now, it doesn't mean you can be an error factory out there and stay on the field. But if you want to get a chance, hit. You'll get a chance.
You got to build your confidence, but you also got to build Dave Van Horn's confidence that there's not going to be this massive, obvious drop-off when you get in. What coaches want is competition. I mean, we talk about this in every sport, that what you want is competition at every position to make everybody better. Now, it's a little different with baseball and pitching because there's a rotation. But, the everyday player, these coaches, Chuck, they want competition so guys stay sharp.
Well, they do, but I mean, they know who their shortstop is. I mean, let's not get carried away here. It was UALR in the middle of the week, and he showed some things that may get him some chances. But I don't think we got a battle at shortstop. I don't think there's anything like that. I think they know who their guy is. And now look, if this guy continues to hit and some of the things defensively are shored up, that's going to give him an opportunity to play going forward. But I can tell you, in the Southeastern Conference, if you're going to give up an extra out in the field, you better go 4 for 4, because there's a pretty good chance that out in the field's cost you a run or two. The extra out that you gave them's cost you a run or two is what I'm saying. So I think they know what they've got there, and I think they're happy to see these young guys play well when they get their shots.
And even if it's not a young guy, like I wouldn't consider Peyton Holt as a guy that's necessarily young. He's been at Crowder for 3 years. I know COVID took away one of his seasons, but he's coming over as a transfer, and you just saw happiness on his face last night. He played with the juice. He played with an energy, and we've already, again, gotten some text on him this morning. I mean, for guys that the lineup in certain cases has already been solidified unless there's a major change, this is going to be one of the few times they get to play, and so they want to give it everything they had, and I thought he did last night as well.
All of them did. I mean, UALR helped him. I mean, they did. And, we'll see how it goes this afternoon. I would expect this afternoon to be a more competitive game.
Sound like Phil and Bubba were having fun out there in the outfield. That's not. You never got to do that, did you?
No, we talked about it a time or two, but never pulled it off. And sounded like they had a good time last night.
You listened to it. I didn't. How was it?
Oh, it sounded like they were having fun. Sounded like they were in the outfield. So
yeah, I mean they had a good time. If you're going to do it, a midweek game's time to do it. You wouldn't do that for a conference series, but I'm glad they did. It was a good night to do it. It was a bar night. It was a perfect night to be out there.
I mean, it'd have been better if they went full Harry Carey and took their shirts off and had a Budweiser. But other than that, everything was perfect.
Phil was,
they did a good job.
Yeah,
they did a good job.
It was fun, and it's something different, and it was a good spot to do that in. So, I mean, it sounded like
with Bark at the Park, no issues there at all.
Well, I mean, listen, when you got a 21-5 ball game, you're looking for other things to maybe to blend into the broadcast at 21-5. So it was probably a good night to be out there amongst the people, as they say, Chuck.
I would imagine that was a, again, I mean, that's a fun experience for them. I know Phil's wanted to do that, and so they had the opportunity to do it last night, and I'm sure they had fun. And it was a ball game that there were some long innings, so I'm sure they had time to get into some other things.
Yeah. So, hey, stop by and have some lunch today at our friends at Art's Barbecue and Burgers. They're on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Always got something cooked up that's just always a good special. And don't forget, on Wednesdays today, their jumbo sliced pork sandwich on Texas toast. Comes with a side. You can get some fries with that for $9.99. Then tomorrow, they're going to have a big, Thursdays. Fridays is the catfish special. Saturdays is $1 off all the burgers. And on Thursdays, the third rack of baby back ribs with fries for $10.99. So something different, something unique, and something on special every day at Art's Barbecue on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
All right, when we come back, our Morning Rush Daily Question.
Hi, this is Mike Greenberg with ESPN Radio, and you're listening to the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-484-5131 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-484-5131. That's 800-484-5131. What do you have to lose? Call 800-484-5131. Again, 800-484-5131.
The first thing people notice when they drive up to your home or walk in any room of your house is the color. And if you're looking for the perfect color and the perfect paint, you'll find it at the Paint Store in Van Buren. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. The Paint Store in Van Buren gives you hometown service from people who know what they're talking about. You don't have to chase them down to get help at the Paint Store. They're always there to help you get that perfect color and that perfect match for your project. If you're looking for the perfect paint color, it's at the Paint Store, 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren.
The Golf Nut has everything you need to make 2023 the best year ever. In stock now, Callaway Paradigm Woods and Irons along with Cobra Aerojet Woods and Irons. Demos are available. Schedule a fitting today. The new Titleist Pro V1s are here. Golf lessons are available. Call the shop and book a time or just play a round of golf on one of the many courses like Pebble Beach or Bethpage Black. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the used car superstore. Last month, Harry completed the biggest used car sale in store history, and now there are dozens of local trades priced to sell fast. Harry has over 200 late model trucks, SUVs, and cars on the lot. Many are low miles with factory warranty remaining. And as always, nobody will give you more for your trade than Harry Robinson. The used car and truck superstore is Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith and online at harryrobinson.com.
Has your wife started talking about having a hot girl summer? Does she keep adding hashtag YOLO to her social media posts? Is she spending more time with her new trainer than with you? It might be time to discuss what a divorce would mean for you and your family. Mock Legal Solutions is here to help. We offer flat fees and payment plans. Don't let hot girl summer sneak up on you. Call us today for a free consultation. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
The horrible internet days in Charleston are now over. Fast, reliable internet from Wave Rural Connect, now available to those in the city limits of Charleston. Get amazing gigabit internet, TV, and phone services from Wave Rural Connect. And don't forget about the new Wave Connect app for the ultimate experience. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call us at 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
Jersey Mike's, now open in Fort Smith on Phoenix, believes in the value of ingredients, premium meats, the freshest vegetables, and delectable bread baked throughout the day. And then there's the juice that elevates your sandwich to the highest level. You'll taste the difference in every bite. Jersey Mike's subs are perfect for catering the office or your next tailgate party. Their cookie and brownie trays are the perfect finale to any type of gathering. Fresh baked daily, right there in the store. Jersey Mike's, the best submarine sandwich on the planet, always.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
So we got plenty of NFL draft conversation on the national side of things. I know Drew Sanders is probably the most highly talked about Razorback heading into the end of April. But guys, they had this NFL draft all-you-can-eat offensive line buffet between several players. This kid from Old Dominion gained 10 pounds during his performance, and it was a variety of things. So you got one food you can eat the most of that you could try and compete against other ESPN Arkansas members. Mine would be spaghetti. Love spaghetti. It's not my favorite food, but I think I could eat the most of that. What is the food that you think you could consume the most of to win this challenge amongst your ESPN Arkansas coworkers? Steak, Chuck?
Steak. Yeah. I'll put you guys all to shame on steak.
Okay. What about you,
Do I need to take you out to the Big Tex in Amarillo and see how you can do?
Hey, man. I know some people that have tried that.
Yeah.
All have failed.
I cannot do that.
Well, it's not the steak. It's all the stuff you got to eat with.
The sides and stuff.
Yeah, it's the bread that'll kill you.
I like
not the 96-ounce steak. It's the bread that'll kill you. I'd go brisket. I mean, that's kind of like steak, but I mean, it's not. But while I love a good steak, a good porterhouse or a filet or whatever, and the flavor of a well done brisket, I think if you had to eat, how much you say, 10 pounds?
This guy gained 10 pounds, Tommy.
Wow.
So he probably ate more.
Well, nothing could be more entertaining than watching a bunch of radio guys have an all-you-can-eat brisket contest. So I would imagine that would end up being really bad.
I wouldn't even care if I lost if it was all you can eat brisket.
brisket.
I mean, there are no losers in that.
No, it's a winner.
Bring me the burn ends.
I think about, the offensive line.
What about you, Tide? What'd you say?
I said spaghetti. Spaghetti would be mine. But reading this story, them talking about the calorie intake that these offensive linemen do. I mean, for example, our friend Brett Good, what he talked about having to eat when he was on the Packers versus when he was just living here in Northwest Arkansas, the differences of that amount that he had to consume. And you were telling me he did, 2 or 3 times on the golf course?
Well, I mean, even after when it was still in limbo, whether he was going to go back and play, he's waiting kind of to figure out he had to keep weight because in your contract you have to have your weight at a certain point. So it takes a lot of calories to keep it up. I mean, I've never had that problem as far as, hey, you need to eat more, but it is a different – it's so foreign to me, that, hey, I've got to eat 5 meals a day and eating cheeseburgers and eating baby back ribs and all this stuff to keep your weight up.
You know, it's interesting to see some of these guys after they stop playing. I think of Travis Swanson's a guy that I see around every once in a while. I mean, when he played here, and obviously when he played in the NFL, I mean, looked like an offensive lineman. And, you know, you look at him now, he looks like a basketball player. I mean, he's tall and thin. So, you know, these guys, the compositions of their bodies to play and then just to live after football are generally much, much different.
Yeah, and I think about.
I can't imagine eating that much food, though. I mean, I'd give it a shot, but I can't imagine.
Give it a shot.
You remember that there was a banquet me and you were both at, UMC'd it, where Daryl Moose Johnston was at, and it was following him. He was a broadcaster at that point. He had finished up his playing days with the Cowboys, and he looked like such a different person. I mean, he'd cut 50 or 60 pounds off his frame. I mean, I just think about guys like that who had to reinvent their bodies post-season or post-playing career. That stood out to me when we met him. I don't know, that's been 15 or more years ago. Probably
well, you know,
lots
of times when we think about the long-term effects of football, you know, we think about head injuries. We hear so much about CTE, and it's very, very real. But, you know, one of the things that I think is part of it anyway is that you're carrying a tremendous amount of weight when you're playing at that level. You've maxed out your body in terms of what you can carry and still play the game and have the speed and the flexibility and all the things you have to be good at it. I know that has a lot of effect on their joints. You know, we talk about playing surfaces and things like that. Carrying all that extra weight and playing a really competitive game, that's going to take an effect on your joints, how you feel when you get out of bed. And so a lot of these guys, I mean, you just can't live a normal life over the extended period that we're all going to live as opposed to playing football. You just can't carry that kind of weight over the course of your life and be able to do what you want to do. So these guys do change their bodies when they get out. A lot of them do. Now, some of the skill guys get fat, but, you know, the guys that are the linemen, a lot of times those guys shed weight.
All right, that's your Morning Rush Daily Question brought to you by Red River Dodge. You had to eat one thing to gain 10 pounds. Chuck said steak, I said brisket, you said spaghetti. Not one of us had a vegetable in there. No Brussels sprouts.
Radio man, we don't know what vegetables are.
No green beans.
Here's the thing now. If you're going to gain weight, if your goal is to gain weight, Ty's got the plan with spaghetti.
Yeah.
I mean,
carb up.
Know,
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean that'll turn to sugar and put on 10 pounds just like that. If all you eat steak, you know, you're going to end up, you know, probably going to end up losing weight if you just eat steak all the time, and that's it.
All right, Red River Dodge is in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. You can log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by V's Barbershop with 2 locations in Rogers and Bentonville. Visit V's Barbershop online at vbarbershop.com or in person and see why V's is a cut above the rest.
Chuck, that's the keto diet, right? Where you just eat meat and people lose weight?
Yeah, it's all been it's all a variation of the old Atkins diet.
Atkins, yeah.
All that stuff.
High protein, low carb. Here's the best
people
diet.
Don't like carbs. It's why people take their bread off their stuff, you know. That's why they don't eat that stuff.
The best diet advice I could give you is if it tastes good, spit it out. That will work every time. So,
well, I'll tell you, the truth of the matter is, I had said to me one time, and it's true, you can eat whatever you want, you just can't eat as much as you want. And there's probably a lot of truth to that.
I have no self-discipline when it comes to food, so that's going to be a terrible thing when my metabolism goes to crap. Guys, I want y'all to reflect on some of these Masters ratings. It was the most watched golf telecast in 5 years. I know Tiger technically made the cut, but he had to withdraw due to injury stuff. Averaged a little over.
Made the cut, but didn't play. Didn't play on Sunday.
Yeah, so. Averaged
withdrew. Yeah.
Over 12 million viewers. You had over 16 million combined for Sunday's third and final rounds, and I watched it on Paramount Plus. It was the most streamed golf ever, and it peaked at 15 million. I mean, we've talked about golf being a good place. Is that kind of a reflection of that?
I think for part of the tournament, when you got 72 holes and it wasn't quite 4 full days of television, the way it ended up being with the weather, I think what we saw at Augusta, at least for part of Friday and then early Saturday, it's like watching a football game in the snow. You just can't take your eyes off it. When you get golfers having to play in those conditions, you don't see it very often, Chuck. So I think that was one thing. It was the Masters, and it's some of the best players in the world. But I was interested as much how they deal with the conditions, much like a football game where the snow's coming down.
Oh, I think part of the attraction with the Masters is all the scenery and all the things that come with it. Sometimes the stars just align, and this was one of those times when a lot of people watch the Masters, and golf's in good shape. Golf's fine. They've got all this stuff going on with the PGA and LIV right now, but the game will survive that. People like watching that event. Now, I don't know what the numbers are like during the course of a PGA season, when you're not playing a major. But, the major championships, particularly the Masters, they're the ones that draw the crowds.
Yeah, I wonder if the LIV angle did help the audience. And here's where I'm coming from. Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, the guys that were in the top 5 that would have been the featured players. And I know Phil played earlier on Sunday, but the featured players that are on the LIV Tour, you don't get to watch them week in, week out if you're a hardcore golf fan. And I think the hardcore guys were watching anyway, but there are some household names that haven't been on CBS much or NBC in their routine golf coverage. Here was your chance to see these guys that are over on LIV playing on the obscure CW wearing shorts, not even looking like a pro. Now they're, here's your chance to see them.
I think the ratings are, I don't know how you can deny that. And like you just, take me for example. The only time I'll watch golf is the 4 majors and the Waste Management Open. That's it. You'll never see it on my television screen unless my roommate has it on, and I'm not.
And there's a lot more like you than there are probably like me and Chuck and Clay that watch it not every week, but more routinely, I'd say.
But the things I wanted to watch this weekend were the Scotty Scheffler have a chance to repeat for the first time since Tiger. What will Tiger do? And then the supposed animosity between LIV golfers and PGA, which has been played up to a point.
Oh, it's
and that
real.
made and that was a big storyline. Now that CBS didn't necessarily play to it all the time, but I know in the different Morning Rush listeners I talked to, that was consistently talked about.
Have you guys watched any of this LIV stuff on CW? Have you just peeked at it for a second?
No, I haven't watched a minute, and the numbers indicate that we're not alone. In that respect.
But I have watched it just out of curiosity in very brief segments. It looks like minor league golf. I mean,
it looks like a bunch of guys.
The fact that they're not dressing to the standard that we know as professional golf. It's 3 rounds versus 4. I don't think that matters to the average viewer. But when you tune in and you look at the product, and in the brief moments I've looked, it just doesn't look like pro golf we're used to.
To me, it looks like pro golfers at a weekend event that happens to be on television. They're playing at a Pro-Am. They're playing at a charity event. They've divvied up into teams and all this stuff. And, I don't consider that to be, professional golf from the standpoint that certainly the Masters was. Here's what I will say about this weekend, though, and here's one of the reasons that I think the numbers were good. I don't know that it's necessarily playing up the rivalry between the PGA and the LIV Tour. But I do think golf fans want to see the best golfers. They want to see the best golfers compete against one another. And right now, at least so far, since the split, the majors are the opportunity where we have to do that. Nobody, for one single moment, doesn't think Brooks Koepka is a great golfer. Nobody who loves golf for one single moment doesn't marvel at what Phil Mickelson did this past weekend at the Masters. Mm-hmm. We just think they sold their souls.
Yeah.
And so, I do think there's great value, and this is where golf's got to get it together. You got to have the best players performing on the stage together more than 4 times a year. That's not going to sustain the game. It'll sustain the television networks that get to televise those 4 majors, but it's not going to sustain the game on a week-in, week-out basis. You got to have the best players competing against one another every weekend. And, again, I don't think it's necessarily the rivalry that people tuned in to see, but I do think they were glad to see the best golfers in the world on the same stage again.
Those guys signed a 4-year deal with LIV. What's the
4
contract? Okay, that's what I thought it was. How many of those guys are they, and y'all have to help me on this as the golf dudes of the show, are they going to be allowed back in the PGA once they expire? Are they done for good?
Right now,
they'll work it out.
Okay.
They'll work it out, but they're
and that's what
indefinitely suspended is what the tour's stance is.
And as we continue on this trek for the next 3 or 4 years, I think, as Chuck just said, they're going to be allowed back in. And I wonder how many of those guys will make the jump back to the tour after doing that.
When the check quits cashing.
Well, here's the thing that you have to remember with a lot of these guys. For example, Phil's 52 now. When this thing runs its course, he's going to be 55, 56. Koepka's 32. Now, I'm not saying Koepka still doesn't have a lot of years left, but my point is they're going to come back older. They're going to come back older. And there's going to be kids like John Rahm that, they come out every year. There's great young golfers all over the world right now, and they're just waiting for their chance. And so I do think that these guys will eventually be back. How it'll happen, I don't know, but they'll eventually be back.
Right.
And again, I think that's going to be the byproduct of the Masters, is not the rivalry, but the fact that golf's got to find a way to have the best performers on the same stage each and every week.
All right, let me ask this, and then we'll move on to the Razorback weekend that's coming up. A guy like Sam Bennett, he's going to be highly sought after. Whenever he declares pro, I don't know if there's going to, not necessarily a bidding war, but I would imagine Liv's going to want a guy like Sam Bennett to come play on their tour. That's where it'll be interesting to see the young guys, like we got to see this weekend with Sam Bennett, the amateur. Will he go PGA Tour or will he go Live from the get-go? That will be interesting to me to watch.
It's kind of like the old AFL, NFL back in the day. And part of Liv's strategy is to sign really good college golfers because they don't have to renounce their PGA Tour membership. They don't have to get kicked out of the club, so to speak, to go. And that's been part of their recruiting strategy. Again, I don't think this is going to end up being about the rivalry. I think it's going to be about golf fans demanding that we have what we had this past weekend with all the best players playing one another. We'll see how it all works out. Hey, let me talk to you about V's Barbershop for just a moment. If you want to get well-groomed, if you want to look good for the Woo Pig weekend, go see my friends. And, here's the thing about V's Barbershop is that it kind of is a trip back in time. They've got the real barber chairs. They've got the hot lather. They have the straight-edge razors. And, it's a different world now. They know how to make your beard look good. They know how to, they know how to make you look sharp, I guess is what I'm trying to say in the final analysis. They've got facial massages. They've got neck massages. It's a different deal now, but they do all this in an atmosphere that's going to make you recall the days when you went to the barbershop as a ritual. Now, they've got 2 locations in Northwest Arkansas. They're in Bentonville on Southwest 14th Street, right off 71B. They're in the Pleasant Crossing Shopping Center in Rogers. Got a couple of locations in Little Rock, and you can always log on to vbarbershop.com.
Gotten some text this morning about the setup of Saturday with Woo Pig Weekend. Again, games at 12, well, pregame beginning at 10. They also want to know, hey, what's it going to look like? Sam Pittman touched on that.
We're only going to kick off once with each group. So that's 1s, 2s, 3s. We're going to punt twice with each group. 1s, 2s, and 3s. We're going to try to get 9 field goals in at some point. We'll go out there and we'll run 9 to 12 plays with the 1s versus 2s. I'm talking about offense. So we'll start with the 1 offense versus 2s, then the 2-0 versus 1D, and then 3-3.
There's a lot of players that I think people want to watch on Saturday. And again, you're not going to get a huge amount of plays to watch the individual you want to see, but I want to see Jacoby Criswell. I want to see if that kid can sling it a little bit because we've heard about it. We assume that there's potential for him to take that second team quarterback role. That's the guy that I want to see on Saturday, probably the most.
I would imagine you'll have plenty of opportunities to see him because I would imagine KJ will play a little bit and then they'll turn it over. And I would think Criswell would be the second quarterback. In terms of the pecking order right now, it certainly seems like he is. So I would imagine you'll get plenty of chances to see him.
Yeah. I want to see him showcase Satania and see if you can get him in some open space where he can showcase his speed. And I think that's the taste a lot of fans want to leave with is you have a playmaker at wide receiver. There's a lot of question about who does KJ have to throw the ball to? In-state kid, track star speed. I hope that, you leave with it, even if it's set up or however it's designed and put in this scrimmage, Chuck. I hope we leave talking about those 2 or 3 plays that Tanya made.
Well, I would imagine that there's a chance for that. He's one of those that provides the wow factor and has that ability to make those kind of plays, and he's a local kid, so people are going to watch him. I want to see these secondary guys. I want to see the corners. I want to see the new guys. We're not going to learn anything on Saturday in terms of, long range other than what the pecking order is. We'll kind of have an idea what the pecking order is out of the game, but I'm anxious, anxious to see them not just in this, what we see Saturday, but going into next year. I think that's a real key.
And, as far as leaving there, who's going to be your tackle? I mean, there's some questions that got to get answered, but, I don't think you're going to find out on Saturday who the tackles are going to be, or a solidified 5 on the front, and maybe who your best pass rusher is going to be. I don't know that you may have an opinion, but I don't know if you're going to leave there after watching what we see over the course of 90 minutes or 2 hours and have any definitive word on any of this stuff.
Well, if you're a glass half full guy, you'll leave there talking about all the great plays you saw. If you're a glass half empty guy, you'll, try to be the smartest fan in the car coming home and point out all the deficiencies. And so that's just kind of how it works.
Yeah. Several months before even the game began. He said a lot about Patrick Kudus, the kid from Memphis. That's the guy that he seems to be really high on a lot. Well, the kid out of, I think he went to Christian Brothers, if I remember that right.
He snapped.
Yeah, they talked about him some even last year. I can just tell you just some conversations that just away from the microphone. I mean, they've liked Kudus. They think he's going to be a player.
So down the road, maybe the most anticipated regular season series we've had in some time. I mean, I don't know if it goes back to when Vanderbilt was here 15 years ago and you had a big Friday night matchup, or what this would compare to.
Got to be LSU, right?
But, Chuck, this is as anticipated a regular season series as we've had in a long time, Arkansas and Tennessee this weekend.
People love rivalries. I don't care what the sport is. You want a rival. And LSU's been a rival in my mind in baseball ever since we joined the league. Since 1992, in my mind, LSU's been the rival in baseball. But I know that, others come and go. And right now it's Tennessee. And it's because of, the dust-up between Dave and Tony. And, I think they've settled the hatch or buried the hatchet. And in the first place, I think it was just like two brothers having an argument, and they just happened to do it in front of a whole bunch of people. And but I think that's I think it's overplayed, but fans enjoy it, and I think that's part of the reason, as you say, this is a very anticipated series.
It wouldn't hurt anyone's feelings if they were on the top step pointing and yelling at each other. Some little drama this weekend. That wouldn't hurt anyone's feelings.
That.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen.
No,
I don't think it's going to happen. See, people imagine these guys don't like each other. They imagine that there's animosity, and they imagine that they dislike one another the same way they dislike the coach for the other team. Yeah. It really doesn't work that way. Hey, let me tell you something. Say whatever you want to about Tony. He recruited a lot of players here that we won a lot of ball games with, and he's a darn good coach. And I know they, everything's kind of gotten crossways, but Tony knows what he's doing.
You don't have Ole Miss coming in this year. You don't have LSU coming in this year because you played them already. You did both those games on the road. So this is the home series that everyone kind of honed in on. And I remember, I don't know if this was an Arkansas fan last season. I know a lot of Arkansas fans had fun with it, but in Omaha last year, they had Vitello's tears in a water bottle outside of one of the bars, and Arkansas fans had a field day with that.
Let me tell you something. I was around when Dave Van Horn was a young coach. You think there weren't fans at other places that didn't hate his guts? I promise you. Dave Van Horn is Dave Van Horn, and I mean, he's got a little sense of theater about him too. Doesn't act like it. People don't talk about it, but he's got a little bit of sense of theater about him. Yep. And I can tell you that when Dave was young, like Tony is now, there were plenty of places where they were really anxious to boo Dave Van Horn the minute he walked on the field. I saw it happen. But that's part of what makes him good.
Yeah, and that's what I want to say. Just enough drama to make it interesting this weekend, and a Hogs series win, of course. Hey, the weather this week has been just ideal across our state, and that's no exception on the White River with our friends at Gaston's White River Resort. It's led to some great fishing conditions, and I'm looking at their Facebook page right now. My buddy Sean White, who's one of their top guides up there, has got some great pictures with some of the folks that have fished with him, and I mean, just some monster browns and rainbows and people really having fun on the White River. Mike Howell's another one of their great guys. I fished with him, and here, that's what separates Gaston's from the other guys. Expert guides that know what's going on, that fish it every day. 870-431-5202 is the number. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
This is former Razorback Sonny Wing, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Remember this top 10 hit from 1983? Boy George, I Think You've Got It. It's Church of the Poison Mind by Culture Club. The culture is continuing to poison the minds of our youth by clubbing them with everything but the truth. But when we heed God's word, He gives us the solution to all the gender confusion. The true poison is believing that evil is good and good is evil. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresInc.com. That's Gray with an A.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey. Oh,
yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
We didn't tell you yesterday on the parking situation for Saturday. Tommy, parking is open for the Arkansas spring game in lots 55, 56, 56B, 56D, 60, 60. I mean,
nobody knows what that is.
Yeah.
That's the one across from Chick-fil-A there at the corner of MLK and Razorback.
Get as close as you can.
Yeah. Just find you a spot, Just find you a spot. So, yeah, all of that, nobody out there, I'm sure, have some people directing you. But, you can park there. I like parking in 56. I mean, sometimes it's a little hard to get out if everybody's leaving at once. Walk across the gardens. It's close to everything. It's downhill on the way back from the football stadium. So, yeah, there'll be plenty of free parking.
It's by a softball field, too.
That's
by
right.
a softball field, too, which is where things are going to kind of migrate towards, I would imagine, once the football game's over.
Yeah.
Arkansas baseball back in action tonight at 4 o'clock in Bob Walker Stadium. You've also got softball that is back in action this weekend against UAB, as Chuck talked about. Now, one of the things we have
they lost to UCA last night.
4-0.
They lost to UCA last night.
Shutout in Conway. They had 2 errors in the bottom of the 5th. I know that was kind of a disappointment for fans, but, again, a chance to respond and rally against the Blazers this weekend at home in Bogle Park. One of the things we have not discussed is the status of Jared Wagner. And Dave Van Horn and Bob Holt had a funny back and forth yesterday.
When he slid into third, is this thumb okay? Or I hope it will be, but we're just trying to be careful with him.
Yeah, I assume he won't play tomorrow.
You never know. That kid's tough, so we'll see.
That's the latest we got on that, but I was cracking up. He's smiling. DVH is smiling the whole time he's talking to Bob. That is Bob's interactions with Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, and Dave Van Horn are entertainment each and every press conference.
Well, the big question, though, is what's the deal going to be with Wagner? I guess we'll find out a little bit more about that. I'd be surprised if he plays today, frankly. But the big thing's this weekend, and you want to make sure that he's ready to go because, that is a run producer right there. He's been a huge pickup for this team. And so, regardless of the back and forth, you got to find a way to, hopefully everything's fine with the thumb. I'm sure they've already done, their due diligence on that already. And, we'll just have to see how it goes. But they need him in the lineup.
That's not just a steady bat. That is a massive bat. He is, I think, still leading the team in so many different categories, including home runs. Yeah, home runs, I think BA. And,
he's your guy. He's your run producer. Yeah. So, you got to have him in there. I think that's the one thing, we talked about the positive things that came out of last night. That's the one thing that you do come out of the game kind of wondering about. What's his status going to be for the rest of the week?
Yeah, you don't bat third in the lineup if you can't hit. That's not where they put you. They're not hiding you in the lineup, Ty, at third or 3-hole or 4-hole.
Oh, so. He's been awesome this season. Matt Norlander of CBS Sports ranked the Arkansas-Kansas NCAA tournament game as number 10. He had the Michigan State, and I guess it would have been Kansas State game as number 1, which ended up being a great game. Did you guys have any Kansas fans that you talk trash to? I sent the shirtless Must picture and video that I was in Des Moines for to a couple people. Do you guys have any Kansas friends?
They're all in hiding right now. They don't want to talk about it right now.
They did not.
Everybody that I know that went to Kansas is a lot smarter than I am, so I stay out of trash talking conversations with them.
Unless it's Kansas football. And we saw how close that be. It's just ironic or coincidental, I guess. You played Kansas in both major sports postseasons. So,
and both were great
games.
That
was all the guys that were there, for Kansas, for the broadcast and all that stuff, we'd all gotten to know one another a little bit in Memphis. So, hey, that's a school that I think we need to be playing. We need to play them in more sports.
I'd love to go to Fall Gallon.
I hope that happens.
It's a cool place. Lawrence.
I hope that basketball is the thing you think about, but we need to be playing them in all sports.
Lawrence is
that's a
sorry,
it's about 4 hours from Fayetteville.
Yeah, I was going to say it's close.
Yeah.
I mean, the campus.
Yeah, it's about a 4-hour drive from Fayetteville.
We
need to be playing them in more sports.
Well, and I think when you think football first, I think most fans would be willing to, when you get what's likely to become a 9-game SEC schedule at some point, having a Power 5 non-con opponent in Kansas would, I think, be attractive for most Arkansas fans.
I don't know if you can work it out in football. That's why I said all sports.
Yeah.
I don't know, with the football scheduling, I don't know that that's doable. Football is really hard to schedule, and there's a lot of uncertainty. We're going to find out, I guess, next month what this schedule is going to look like, and that'll answer some questions. I just mean that they're close.
Mm-hmm.
We need to play them in a lot of sports.
Yeah.
If you can play them in football, great. You're probably not going to be able to do that very often, and I don't know how often they're going to be good, just to be honest.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice if you could play them in some other sports.
And we mentioned the bowl game.
I'm not harping on it. I'm just saying it'd be nice if you could.
It just makes sense. And we should also mention, I guess, the women's basketball team, they ended their season to Kansas in the WNIT. So,
think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. You're right.
I just remembered because I saw a picture of Phil up there with their play-by-play guy, and it made me think about that. And that was a close trip for the women's program. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way that day.
Speaking of postseason, NBA has gotten underway. You've got 5 former Razorbacks that are in postseason play. Patrick Beverly for the Chicago Bulls, Bobby Portis for the Milwaukee Bucks, Moses Moody for the Golden State Warriors, and then you have Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams all for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm watching that game at 8:30 tonight with Isaiah and Jalen. They'll take on Zion Williamson and the Pelicans. The play-in tournament's kind of weird.
Explain this tournament. I think most of our audience.
Yeah, how does this work? How does this work?
Tell us old guys how this play-in tournament works.
You're basically playing to get the 8 seed. They've added more games. It's kind of, Chuck, it would be baseball with them.
So in other words, you don't know either.
It's the.
I don't know. I mean, do you play a tournament if you lose, you're out?
So
do the winners play each other?
Yes,
Somebody help us. Somebody bail us out
the
here.
10 versus 9, for example, Oklahoma City against New Orleans, they'll play tonight, and then if I remember correctly, they're going to play the winner of another game and matchup. Maybe I'm not the one.
So the Lakers and the Heat won last night. The Lakers and the Hawks I guess, won last night. Do they play each other now?
They're playing. Well, Atlanta's on the East, and then Lakers are on the West, so they won't play each other.
All right. Well, they don't play each other.
Yeah,
I got you.
It's kind of the setup on that. Lakers.
So the Oklahoma City game tonight, that's in the West. The winner of that will play the Lakers.
The Lakers are playing the Grizzlies now. They're now matched up for the Grizzlies. In that series again.
So I have no idea.
It's
I think it's confusing.
It is. It very much is confusing. And then the Thunder and the Pelicans.
I'm just looking at the schedule here. The Lakers and the Grizzlies play on Sunday.
Yeah, that's kind of the setup on that.
In Memphis.
I'm excited though. I hope Jalen and Isaiah go off. We've seen points for both of them this season. They've had really good games. Jalen's leading the league in charges, and he's only played a handful of minutes compared to some other guys. He's had quite an impact, and this was a team that was thought to be tanking this year, and now they're in the playoffs. So props to those two guys to step up and for what they've been for their teams. And then, again, Bobby's been awesome for the Bucks this season. That's going to do it for your Hog Update. It's brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
How many tickets do we have to give away for later today, Tommy?
Let me look. I think 4.
4? Okay. You want to give away 2 now and 2 next hour?
Sure.
All right, let's give away 2 tickets. 877-377-6963. If you want to go to the game in Baum Walker Stadium against Little Rock at 4 o'clock today, just be caller number 1. 377-6963. Speaking of tickets, got this email from the NCAA. They're charging $250 for the Final Four, and you get an application fee of $25 as well. So even if you don't get selected for the Final Four, you still get charged $25 for even applying on that. Stuff like, and I know the ticket stuff drives you insane. I saw that yesterday, and I was just mad. That's my beef, I guess, today.
Well,
it's the stupidity there. $25
to pay
for
the possibility of maybe getting selected in their ticket lottery.
$25. They've got to change this process.
That'll weed out a lot of people, though.
Well, you got all these tickets that are bought before the Final Four, and then none of the actual fans
It's the computers that they got to stop that. They got to stop the ticket brokers from getting all the tickets.
Yeah.
Let the public have them.
Hour 3 coming up. Still more baseball and basketball and football to get into next.
FenceMan, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the FenceMan team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The FenceMan offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The FenceMan. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The FenceMan is an equal opportunity employer.
It's the spring sale event at WT Equipment. Save up to $350 on Hustler Turf Raptor Series mowers and up to $750 on select Toro Zero Turn mowers. WT Equipment is one of the largest Hustler dealers in the country with a huge selection in stock. Buy what the pros buy, where the pros buy. Save big or get 0% for 48 months on participating equipment with approved credit. Whether you are upgrading your fleet or looking for the best cut on the cul-de-sac, don't miss the spring sale event at WT Equipment. For more information, visit your local WT dealer or online at WTpromos.com.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Play the Multiplier family of scratch-off tickets and win big with the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery. Multiply your winnings 10 times, 20 times, up to 200 times. Ticket prices range from $1 to $20, and top prizes from $5,000 up to $500,000. Arkansas scratch-off players win more than $1 million every day. You could be next. Look for the X to play, scratch, and win. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we've got a great group of people ready to work hard to help you do whatever it is you're trying to do. Maybe you need to buy a car, sell a car, repair a car. Maybe you're just asking for a friend who has a question about a car. We're here to help. All the happiest customers are rolling with Rath. By the way, visit us on Facebook and check out this month's Winning and Grinning Give-A-Palooza. Who knows what you might win? Maybe a Meineke Mile Service contract or a prepaid maintenance plan or a set of tires. It's fun and it's free, and just one way we say thanks to all of our friends and family who support and promote our business. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. 15 minutes from everywhere, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Hey there, Sue here from the paint store in Van Buren. Don't dread that painting project. Let us guide you through with stellar results. YouTube doesn't know what we know. Our Richards paint, Corona brushes, and Whiz tools make for a great finish. Stellar is your coupon code. The paint store in Van Buren, we have M&M certified grass-fed beef too. 1414 Fayetteville Road, Van Buren.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
COP CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050, COP CDL Academy.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else. My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's. Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. Our high temperatures will be right around 75 degrees. We are looking at clear skies and upper 40s tonight. Thursday, sunny skies. Our high will be right around 75. And then Friday, we will wind down this week with plenty of sun. Our high temperatures upper 70s to near 80 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
You're listening to the Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
He's catching a lot of wild balls. That separates receivers right there, is who can catch contested passes and who can catch the one that's unbelievably hard to catch. He seemed to have been able to do that. I've been pleased with Armstrong, like I talked about, and Satagna and Bryce and those guys as well.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You guys know I am a student of pop culture.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
We've asked the question this morning, what player do you want to see the most on Saturday? There's going to be plenty of them that you haven't seen before that you'll finally see in a Razorback uniform. That was Sam Pittman talking about Isaac TeSlaa, the transfer from Hillsdale College, the tall wide receiver that has been making plays apparently in spring ball. You heard him talk about not just there, but I've heard him say several things about TeSlaa as one of the guys. Now, we saw a couple transfers come in last year in Matt Landers, and then also Jaden Hazelwood that really from the jump were starters. I don't know if Isaac's going to be that said guy. What I do know is Sam Pittman said a lot of encouraging things about him to this point.
Yeah. So that's a player I think we all want to see on display this weekend in that spring game. So.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Mach 1 Financial. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor located in Bentonville, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
One of the guys' status that is up in the air for Saturday is Tyrone Broden, the transfer from Bowling Green. He's been a little banged up in the spring. Don't know if we're going to see him 100%. He's, I think, your tallest wide receiver, if I remember right, at 6'7". You got a bunch of tall dudes that you brought over. That's Chuck, you were talking about on Monday.
I don't remember many 6'7" guys at wide receiver.
No.
Like ever.
I think Marcus Monk was about 6'6", but you can run and catch, and You have that height to add to it. That makes you a matchup nightmare for DBs. And, Chuck, you kind of talked about it on Monday. That seems to be the prototype that Sam Pittman and his staff are trying to get out of the portal in terms of wide receivers.
Well, you'd love a big guy. I mean, I don't know that you're going to go get a 6'7" guy. I mean, you want tall guys who can run. You want guys who can make plays. When I think of a guy that big, I think about, what you could do with him in the red zone. And I think, Coach Pittman's talked a lot about situational football and how there were, maybe 10, 12 plays last year that if you reverse the outcome, you change the outcomes maybe in 4 ball games, as many as 4 ball games. Mm-hmm. So I think about a player like that helping you in that situation. Doesn't mean he can't help you all over the field, but I think about a guy like that because, it's a tight window down there. You get in that red zone, it's a tight window. And you can't do everything that you would do in the middle of the field. And sometimes a big guy like that can help you score a touchdown.
Yeah, and you just think about if KJ develops the consistent touch on a fade pass or jump balls in the back corner of the end zone, a guy that if he's reliable, on your roster at 6'7", and we hadn't seen much of him because he's been banged up in spring. It just opens up, or you can put in and install 2 or 3 other options down in that red zone like you're talking about that you haven't been able to execute.
Let me say this, whether you're 6'7" or 5'7", if you can make plays, I mean, we talk a lot about Satania. Satania's not a big guy. What I was talking about really, Ty, the other day with prototype size was the linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a wide receiver and you can get separation and you can catch the ball in traffic and you can out-battle a cornerback for the football in a clutch situation, I mean, you're going to play, again, whether you're 5'7" or 6'7", you'll get opportunities to be out there.
I think Tesla is about 6'4", 6'5". Armstrong's 6'6". Again, those are some of the transfers that you brought over in addition to
Armstrong's
Broden.
listed at 6'4".
Okay. And then what's Tesla at?
6'4".
Okay. So
Broden's the tallest guy, obviously at 6'7", but there's a bunch of 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" guys on the roster.
And then Isaiah's under 6 feet, but has
listed at 5'11".
Yeah. He has good ball skills. I think with so many wide receivers and pass catchers, not just wide receivers, but also Trey Knox departing, that's a position group that fans are itching to see more out of. And I know you're not going to get the full thing. Sam touched on that earlier.
Not a scoring scrimmage. I guess they could, but it's not a game type situation, I guess what I'm saying.
So he's already set the stage for what Saturday is, but I mean, you know how fans are. They'll take anything they can get at this point. We're still months out from football season, so this is still a luxury that fans are going to take advantage of on Saturday.
When it's set up the way it is, and I don't know, the score is going to be that, he talked about wanting to kick 9 field goals, and he's got ones versus ones, and it goes from there. And the ideal situation for a coach is you're not able to come out of the game and say definitively, here's the winners and the losers. You want everybody to look like winners. So I imagine that's the goal, is to set it up where there's not a lot of people shaking their head walking back down the hill to their car wondering, how in the world are we going to win 5 games this year? You're trying to leave people energized and make everybody look like they're on a winning unit.
Oh, that's got something to do with it, sure. I mean, but by the same token, you can't walk away from spring practice or the spring game drawing a whole lot of conclusions. I mean, you just can't. You've got an idea about what the pecking order is going to be when you come back in August. I think we'll have an idea of that, but I don't think hopefully there are a lot of things that make people feel good, and I think there will be. It'll be a fun day.
I don't think the coaches are looking for answers on Saturday. I think they already have the answers based on the practices they've had leading up to Saturday. Saturday's just a showcase and a finale.
Well, here's one of the things that I've wondered about. Last year, heading into the season, you were the dark horse. You were the media darling, picked third in the SEC West, only trailing Alabama and Texas A&M, and LSU kind of became that the way their season ended. As we get more takeaways from the spring game and you have all these national people that have conclusions, I want to know what the thought is on Arkansas football heading into this year. I don't know. I want to see what the perception is on this football program. Sam was asked yesterday about the status of his program, the health of the program overall, and he likes where it is right now. I'm curious to see what other people think heading into this year with KJ and Rocket, and with some of the pieces they lost, what the thought is on Arkansas football in 2023.
Well, it'll be, I guess, interesting. I don't put a lot of stock into that, frankly. I don't think that just because you work for a national publication means that suddenly, without having been in Fayetteville and without having watched, that you can, you can draw a conclusion. There'll be all kinds of speculation going into the season, and we all like it when they talk about our team. Everybody does. But, time's told me over the years that preseason polls, particularly the SEC Media Days poll, are as worthless as the piece of paper they're written on. And that's how I view it, and that's how I'll continue to view it probably.
You're looking for someone to maybe frame the season when we don't know exactly all the parameters. I just keep coming back to the one thing we know, and that's schedule. There's 7 games in state. You got 3 SEC games with Mississippi State, Auburn, and Missouri, and the rest are non-conference games. I believe just on paper, and maybe I'm generalizing, all 7 are winnable games. And that's where I start is just looking at that. Last year you lost 3 games in state. LSU, Bama, and the Liberty game. If you could just take care of the home schedule, and that's a big ask. The idea of winning 8 games this year, or maybe more, I think is realistic. But the realistic thing in my mind is I look at who you're playing in Fayetteville and the one game in Little Rock, and those look like you could pile up some wins there based on the schedule in this year where you don't have every other year right now under the formula Alabama and LSU coming to town.
If you really listen and read between the lines from what Coach Pittman's said a lot this spring, it comes back to situational football. And look at 2 years ago when they went 9-3, the 10 or 12 plays. Regardless of home or road, the 10 or 12 plays, they made them. They won those close games. His first year, they lost every close game they played. Second year, seemed like they won every single one of them. Last year, 4 losses by a total of 9 points? Is that what I think that's pretty close to being correct. So, this is a good team. It's a good program. What he's done over the course of time that he's been here has been remarkable. I'm going to tell you, we were in a ditch, and I'm not breaking any news when I'm saying that. We were in a ditch, and it was bad. And I don't know that we've ever had a program that needed a leader like him the way we did at that time. And our program is better. And we've got to become the program now that makes those plays. Those are the teams that win 9 and 10 games. The teams that go 6-6. Arkansas was good enough to win a lot of those games, just like they were the year before. They just didn't win them. So situational football's got a lot to do with this. And I promise you, every single player, new player they brought into this team, they brought in with that in mind. They brought in with some situation in mind. And those are the plays you have to make. They didn't make them last year. If they make them this year, whether they win all their games at home or all their games on the road, they'll be in a good bowl game at the end of the year.
We talk a lot about KJ. We spend a lot of times. One guy we have not talked enough about is Rocket Sanders. Says here in the notes, first Arkansas running back to rush for 1,400-plus yards and return to school since McFadden did in 07. We can talk about plays and those, in basketball you call them 50-50 plays and those jump balls. You got to win those situations. It's the same thing in football. He's the guy that's got to make the critical 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 play. Him and KJ are the guys that are going to be the straws that stir the drink. So I'm looking for Rocket to be just as big a factor as anybody else in what the win total is at the end of the year.
Well, he'll have a good year. I would expect Rocket Sanders to have a good year. Got to stay healthy. I think they've got 3 good options back there. I think Rashad Dubinion's a guy that, you got to find a place for him. He's just too good not to. And we've seen a lot from A.J. Green. A.J. Green's a steady player. So I think that position, how they run the football, that's their identity. Coach Pittman talked at the end of the season. That's why he made a change in the strength room. Wanted him to be more physical in the running game. So if Arkansas is good, they'll run the ball well. If they don't run the ball well, they're probably not going to be very good because that is their bread and butter.
Yeah, and having that fresh back, we saw this a couple times where they bring someone in that didn't play the first half or had limited carries in the first 2 quarters, and then fresh set of legs come in and seem to make a lot of hay. And I think that's what that depth gives you more than just another option. Gives you a fresh option, Chuck, in the third and fourth quarter.
Well, it does. Your offensive line better play well, and your quarterback better play well. I mean, you don't just you don't run the football well only because you got a fresh leg guy back there. When you do those other things, it can really help you. I mean, it can really help you. But when you put that fresh leg back in there in the third quarter, and you're still playing the same 5 offensive linemen that have played for 2.5 quarters, they better have some juice left too. If they do, that fresh leg running back will probably get you a lot of yards.
Rocket will be in contention for Doak Walker. Now, that Corum kid from Michigan is probably going to be the front runner, but he'll be a status. We saw last year him go out. Talking about A.J. Green. Green comes in there, shows out. DeBinion has a good game as well. DeBinion is lethal in the screen game. I have not seen him get tackled by the first guy on a screen all last year. It just didn't happen. He always make one guy miss, and that was an issue for the running backs. They didn't make a lot of guys miss. DeBinion was probably the best of the 3 of getting that happen. I felt like last year, KJ Jefferson won perfect. Didn't play against LSU, didn't play against State, was hampered against Liberty. They weren't going to win that football game because you were giving up so many points, so many yards defensively. I don't know if I'm going to feel that way this year. I hope I don't, because if you're asking KJ to do all that and be perfect, you're probably going to have an average season like you did last year. You've got to have other guys step up, and they didn't have enough of that last year. KJ had to be perfect or you weren't going to win the game.
Who would you like to see step up?
I mean, it starts with the wide receivers because you weren't consistent enough there last year. And you mentioned the offensive line. You've got to have blocking when you lost your best offensive lineman in Ricky Stromberg. You lost your left tackle in Luke Jones. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he was an All-American by any means, but got to have the guys in the offensive line step up, and then you've got to have one guy in that wide receiver room. He doesn't have to be an All-American, but KJ has to know that he can throw the ball to him in any situation, even if it's tight coverage. That you didn't have that last year. Now, Landers was good at points. Hazelwood was good at points, but there was plenty of drops last season. So, to me, it has to be one of those wide receivers. I don't care who it is. Really don't.
So, you think the receiver's more key than the quarterback there? I don't.
I think we know what we have in KJ. I'm not worried a lick about KJ. And I don't think KJ is going to all of a sudden become, I thought last year, and I've taken a step back. I don't think KJ is just going to be this Heisman candidate that's going to be a hidden hooker where he comes out of nowhere. I think we know what KJ is to this point. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he goes a drastic improvement, and he even takes a greater step than we've seen. But I think what you have at quarterback, and you know what you have in the running back room. You hope what you have in the offensive line because Pittman's got the background there. But you have to have another element against SEC. You can't run the ball.
I don't disagree with that. I do disagree with the premise, though, that's on the wide receivers. I think that's on the quarterback. If you want a good passing game, you got to have the quarterback first. And but no, I'm in full agreement that you got to be able to do things other than run the football. I'm in full agreement with that. But if you want a good passing game, it starts with the quarterback.
You said something a minute ago that I think a lot of fans feel this way about it. That hey, the quarterback's got to have confidence in that wide receiver. Well, that's a two-way street. That wide receiver's got to have confidence in that quarterback. That ball's going to be on the right spot at the right moment when he's coming across and stretching his body out. So it's not just the confidence the quarterback has in the one catching it. It's also that confidence that the wide receiver has that my quarterback's going to put it where it needs to be when it needs to be there.
I think it's a two-way street.
Yeah, I agree.
As you say. I mean, it is a two-way street, but it starts with the quarterback in my mind.
He's the one with the ball.
That's right. He's the money man. And if you pay attention to money, you know that the stock market posted a positive first quarter in 2023. And that brings me to the Market Moment podcast, local financial experts that break down what all this means to you. They take the national story, they bring it home, and they give you an opportunity to listen to their thoughts on that each and every week on the Market Moment podcast. Now, I think you'll like it. I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's informative. Mach1fg.com is the website. That's MACH, the number 1, FG.com. If you'll go there, you'll find out more. You can listen to the Mach 1 Moment podcast. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor. They're located in Rogers, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe are suiting up for the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans in playoffs. And one of the things I heard about Jalen and Isaiah is that he could use another year before they decided to go to the draft. And I've heard the same things about Ricky Council, Jordan Walsh, Nick Smith, and Anthony Black. I think one of the big college basketball storylines was Duke forward Kyle Filipowski, who's projected as a top 20 pick in this upcoming NBA draft, announcing he's coming back to school. And he wants to, at least the thought process is he wants to try and become a top 10, top 5 pick due to the differences in money. Guys, when you see something like this, are we going to see more of this with NIL intact or in place, or is this a one-off? Is this an anomaly? Is this an example that we're not going to see? And is this something that maybe Anthony or Jordan sees that might change their decision due to the fact that Kyle's as highly projected as he is?
I don't think it'll affect anybody other than him. I don't think it'll have any bearing on anybody's decision because everyone's situation's different. We only focus on the basketball. These are personal decisions. The personal aspect in the decisions here plays a big role too. I'm not going to say it supersedes the basketball, but it plays a big role. NIL is a factor. It may keep some fringe guys that are the difference between second and first, might keep them around. I still think, though, age has probably as much to do with it as anything. There are lots of different factors. So, no, I don't think this guy's decision will affect anybody else.
NIL's guaranteed money in a lot of ways. You know what you're getting. There is a risk to the process of the draft in the NBA, and some guys are higher projected, and there's maybe less risk in their mind of the money they're going to make. But, hey, coming back, college life's a pretty good life. Not that the NBA life isn't, but you got it. You've got all the resources and everything you need, and that NIL money for another year, what the bird in the hand is. Where there may be two bigger ones in the bush, but you just don't know that. You know what is in your hand coming back to college.
Well, you want your favorite players or your best players to come back and play for you as long as they possibly can. And as a dedicated fan, they always find a myriad of reasons why it would be a good idea for this guy to come back. And that's why I say you have to look beyond the basketball. You got to look beyond the basketball. And money has a lot to do with it. Taking care of your family has a lot to do with it. Providing for your mom that's worked 2 jobs has a lot to do with it. Those are factors that come into play in lots of decisions. So it's, this kid obviously made the best decision that's, for him. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd never heard of him, but he made the decision for him. But I don't think it's going to affect anybody else.
Be interesting to see as we move closer to the deadline what happens with a couple Razorbacks. We're still waiting to find out some more definitive direction where they're headed. Hey, the best selection of RVs just got even better at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. They are proud to announce the addition of Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. So if you're looking for the best and you want to shop the best quality and selection and features and a great price, it's all at Wheels RV. While you're there, check out the Brinkley Model Z. Now, this is the very latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And if you're like Chuck and Ty, you want luxury when it comes to your fifth wheel, they've got it at Wheels RV. And every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and see Lee, Jay, and Chris. Check out the all-new Brinkley Model Z and their full lineup. Wheels RV is 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
Congrats to Ethan Vogel, who won the tickets for the Arkansas baseball game later on at 4. We'll give away some more tickets and talk more about Little Rock later on today and the Tennessee series coming up.
Hey, this is Cam Little, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Play the Multiplier family of scratch-off tickets and win big with the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery. Multiply your winnings 10 times, 20 times, up to 200 times. Ticket prices range from $1 to $20, and top prizes from $5,000 up to $500,000. Arkansas scratch-off players win more than $1 million every day. You could be next. Look for the X to play, scratch, and win. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
As basketball season gives way to baseball, the chill of winter is giving way to the warmth of spring. Now is the perfect time to get your AC system ready for the warmer weather with Pascal. A Pascal Pro tune-up ensures your system is clean and ready to help you stay cool this summer and avoid costly repairs or breakdowns. Right now, beat the summer heat and save $30 off your tune-up. Professional people, professional service, Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Schedule today at gopascal.com.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the used car superstore. Last month, Harry completed the biggest used car sale in store history, and now there are dozens of local trades priced to sell fast. Harry has over 200 late model trucks, SUVs, and cars on the lot. Many are low miles with factory warranty remaining. And as always, nobody will give you more for your trade than Harry Robinson. The used car and truck superstore is Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith and online at harryrobinson.com.
Come on. Alone, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Art's Barbecue and Burgers has the best burger in town. And every Saturday, enjoy any burger at Art's and get $1 off. Try Art's Bacon Cheeseburger, topped with house-smoked bacon, or the Art Attack with bacon, ham, and a fried egg. And all of Art's burgers come with a mound of fresh-cut fries, or upgrade to Art's homemade onion rings. $1 off all burgers every Saturday at Art's Barbecue and Burgers, 8203 Rogers Avenue, next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren.
Hi, this is Melissa Vitale, owner of True Grit Running Company. Your young athlete deserves the best when it comes to footwear. After all, it's good to start early so they don't have problems in the future. We've got options for training, cross-country, gym class, and more. Our well-trained staff can guide your student athlete through our personalized fit process to help find that True Grit fit. And for our cross-country kids, we offer a 10% discount off of your total purchase. Visit our store in Fort Smith, located behind Chick-fil-A.
810 Billiards and Bowling is fun with an upscale attitude. Enjoy live music starting April 27th. And every night is late night happy hour from 10 to close with half-price apps and 75-cent wings. Don't forget Razorback Baseball. Enjoy $2 drafts on select beers while you watch the game. Whether you like to bowl, play games, or shoot pool, 810 Billiards and Bowling has the perfect venue. Located at 5609 Rogers Avenue, across from Randall Ford. 810 Billiards and Bowling. We have something for everyone.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Here's the thing about him. When you watch him out there on the mound, he acts like a closer. He acts like a guy who's going to come in and take control of the ball game. He's got a little strut about him. He's got some swagger. You got to have that. You got to be that guy.
Chuck talking about Gage Woods following the win over Ole Miss, doing that on Monday. We'll talk more baseball coming up. Got 3 more tickets to give away as well, and do want to get to a call in just a sec.
All right, Burton Pools and Spas, our friends in Springdale and in Fort Smith, celebrating 45 years, and right now their anniversary special includes Doughboy, Hydrosphere, and semi-unground pool packages with savings up to $5,000 off. So don't miss these special savings during this once-a-year sale right now. Also, great savings on hot tubs. Payments start at $80 a month. In-ground pools up to $7,000 off. And construction starting in May. So if you still want to swim this summer, our friends at Burton's can make it happen. They're celebrating 45 years. Save big during the 45th anniversary sale at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith. They build more than pools. They build long-term relationships.
Let's talk to Joey this morning. Joey, welcome in.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to maybe shed a little light on the play-in tournament situation. So we do something similar in our fantasy football league, just figure out who's going to have to buy pizza for the draft next year. So we do like the inverse of this. But the way that the NBA playoff is going to work is the 7 and the 8 and the 9 and the 10 are all in the playoff for each conference. And the 7 and the 8 played last night, and the winner of that is in the playoffs. They don't have to do anything else. The loser of that is going to have to play the winner of the 9 and the 10. So in the West, that'll be the Thunder and the Pelicans. So
okay, I got it.
Yeah. So whoever wins the out of the Thunder and the Pelicans will play the Timberwolves for that 8 seed. So if you're the 7 or the 8, you only have to win once to stay in the playoffs. If you were the 9 and the 10, you got to win twice to get in. So
I got you.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been doing that for years in our fantasy football league. Our commissioner Jeff, he's a revolutionary. He's had that for
cutting edge
ahead
guy.
Of his time.
Yeah,
he's ahead of his time. He's a seer.
So yeah, well, thanks for the call, because that tells me I don't need to tune in quite yet. I mean, it tells me I've still got a month to tune into the NBA.
I was reading a story talking about fantasy leagues about a guy who the last place team in their fantasy league had to go to Waffle House and eat nonstop waffles for a certain number of hours. Well, the guy went. He ended up eating, I think, I don't know how many waffles. He was there for 6 hours, and all the while he was raising money for the tip for the waitress, and so his bill came out to $50, and the tip was $1,100. And he live streamed while he was eating all these waffles, and he raised money for his server at Waffle House while he was doing that. So turned out to be a pretty neat deal.
What was it you had to dress up like Harley Quinn and go to a?
Yeah, screw that. That was
what was it you had to do?
What was the deal?
You lost your bet.
I lost our fantasy football league and had to dress up as Harley Quinn and go to a Dallas Comic-Con, and that was a living hell. I don't want to. There's pictures out there, too, if you want to see those, which no one wants to. But
still single, ladies.
Chuck's point.
That's right.
The Waffle House.
Radio Man and so much more.
The Waffle House Challenge, 24 hours. Every waffle you eat, you take off one. I think that was the Henderson State broadcaster, Chuck, if I remember that right. I think it was the kid that does those games. Say kid, he's a year or two younger than me. But
it sounds like one of the punishments on Impractical Jokers.
Oh, it's fantastic. For example, ours this year's is the 6-12-18 challenge. My old roommate he's going to do between Miles beers and donuts. He's going to do 6 donuts, 12 miles, and 18 beers. It's all got to be in one day. All got to be in one day that he has to do all that.
Full day.
Yeah,
That's
so
a full day.
Now he's pretty avid runner, so he'll get the 12 miles done pretty good, and then he'll eat the donuts and drink the beers. But he's going to be feeling like crap the next couple
Chuck
days.
and I went with the 18 donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly where we'd have started.
Take me 2 days to drink 18 beers, I'm afraid. I'm not sure I can
month's
do
worth.
that anymore.
Yeah. Hey, if you're involved in a divorce or custody case and you want an attorney who you can trust, and not only trust to represent you right, but return your calls, return your emails, to stay engaged in the process, that's Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull at the Hickey and Hull Law Partners. They have 7 decades of combined experience in their office, so there's not going to be a scenario or something come up that they haven't dealt with before. So these are people you can trust. Find them online at kevinhickeylaw.com or call 479-434-2414 and schedule your consultation in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and other parts of Arkansas as well. That's kevinhickeylaw.com or 479-434-2414. Things are about to get better with the Hickey and Hull Law Partners.
So if I had to guess, the Bama ticket football this past year across the board was the most expensive. Basketball was the Kentucky ticket at home this year. And guys, and maybe South Carolina surpasses it, but based on the prices I'm seeing, the Tennessee tickets this weekend are crazy, especially the Hog Pen.
What are you seeing?
Saturday, you're spending at least $90 just to get in the Hog Pen, Chuck. Friday, it's a little more cheap. We'll see how Sunday, depends on how they play Friday and Saturday, depends how Sunday shakes out. But I don't think you're getting in for less than $90 on Saturday, according to the different websites.
If you go on the secondary market, that's what you're going to have to pay.
Unless you got a good friend or something, or Chuck Barrett, who's got a bunch of tickets that he's willing to give out for free.
Yeah.
But that's the.
Let me give out my number here. Just call me.
Yeah.
Let's do it that way. But this fun series this weekend, and you had Bark in the Park last night, and Phil and Bubba in the outfield, and they got some other gimmick tonight. I can't think what it is, but they got something else going on tonight too.
Well, I liked hearing the dogs barking during the game.
You're a dog guy, though.
I enjoyed that. Yeah.
If this weekend's like anything we've seen in the past, with the exception of the Arkansas USC game in 06, there's always been tickets available.
Yeah.
There's always been fingers in the air. So there's always been tickets in. It's a little different now with electronic.
You got to be a little resourceful. If you're waiting on somebody to walk to your front door and hand you a couple of tickets, or you just think out of the blue somebody's going to magically transfer you some tickets, that's probably not going to happen. But if you're resourceful, you'll find a way.
Well, we will magically transfer some tickets later on at 4 o'clock. If you want to go, be caller number 1, 877
for today's game.
377
today's game.
6963.
Ty's giving away his personal tickets for Saturday night.
I can't do that.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
Hey, this is former Razorback Quinn Grovey, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Play the Multiplier family of scratch-off tickets and win big with the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery. Multiply your winnings 10 times, 20 times, up to 200 times. Ticket prices range from $1 to $20, and top prizes from $5,000 up to $500,000. Arkansas scratch-off players win more than $1 million every day. You could be next. Look for the acts to play, scratch, and win. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Gray Steel Structures Incorporated is a family-owned business based in Greenwood specializing in steel structures. Owner Will Gray has 20 years experience doing the job right and making sure you're satisfied with the structure you have a need for. Gray Steel Structures serves both commercial and residential customers. Whatever your need may be, mini storage, RV storage, home workshop, or any metal building need, make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresInc.com. That's Gray with an A.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the used car superstore. Last month, Harry completed the biggest used car sale in store history, and now there are dozens of local trades priced to sell fast. Harry has over 200 late model trucks, SUVs, and cars on the lot. Many are low miles with factory warranty remaining. And as always, nobody will give you more for your trade than Harry Robinson. The used car and truck superstore is Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith, and online at harryrobinson.com.
Doe's Eat Place, serving award-winning steaks, has now added lobster tail and salmon to the menu. You can also enjoy delicious appetizers along with your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Doe's Eat Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Call 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
50% off. That's right, 50% off starting April the 1st at Frank Roll Furniture. A one-time offer for the month of April. 50% off all in-stock sofa, love seats, sectionals, and recliners. We need to move it quick due to truckloads coming. This sectional, $21.99, now $1,100. Sofa love, $23.19, now $11.60. This recliner, $451, now $226. Main USA Cash and Carry Furniture Sale. Get it while it lasts. Frank Roll Furniture. Best seats in the house.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we've got a great group of people ready to work hard to help you do whatever it is you're trying to do. Maybe you need to buy a car, sell a car, repair a car. Maybe you're just asking for a friend who has a question about a car. We're here to help. All the happiest customers are rolling with Rath. By the way, visit us on Facebook and check out this month's Winning and Grinning Give-A-Palooza. Who knows what you might win? Maybe a Meineke Mile Service contract or a prepaid maintenance plan or a set of tires. It's fun and it's free, and just one way we say thanks to all of our friends and family who support and promote our business. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. 15 minutes from everywhere, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
I think this happened after the NCAA tournament, and this from John Rothstein. Texas is going to play LSU in Houston next season in basketball, and Creighton's also going to play Alabama home-and-home series. We're talking about playing Kansas. I know that with no longer the Big 12 SEC Challenge being a thing, we've got this new ACC SEC Challenge, which I'm really excited to see what opponent Arkansas plays. I think Syracuse would actually be a matchup that you could see, which we've seen already at this point. Boeheim and company came. They come to Little Rock or Fayetteville, Tommy? They came to Fayetteville, right? They won that game, I think, by like 9 or something. But I don't think they're going to give you North Carolina or Duke. But I could see Syracuse being an opponent. Kansas.
I believe we also had Michigan in here a while back, too, didn't we?
Trey Burke missed I think what would have been a game tying or game winning 3, and you had Bill Raftery jump the gun, say, boom, got it, and it ended up rimming out, kind of like when Steve Hale missed that baseline jumper at the end of the North Carolina-Arkansas game. But there's some non-marquee, non-conference games basketball-wise. I don't know if Arkansas is going to have one of those big-time ones because they're going to the Bahamas this year, right? Mm-hmm. And then they've got the ACC Challenge. So you've already got, and based on what Ruda did with the schedule, you already had some really good non-conference opponents, and didn't say on paper, but it ended up turning out that way. They're just not, for normal college basketball fans, you're not jumping the gun on seeing some of the opponents you play.
The battle for Atlantis?
Believe that's correct. Yeah. Is it so? Yeah.
I probably should go down there and cover that for the show. That's probably what I should do. So the problem always becomes, where do you place these in the schedule? They almost have to be in December. Sundays are out because of the NFL. I mean, if you want a big-time TV spot. Saturdays, depending on where you place it in the month, it's just hard to find the television real estate on ESPN or CBS or somewhere of that nature. You don't want to play a marquee game against, some of these names we're talking about and then it be on the SEC network. Nothing wrong with the SEC network, but that's the kind of game that goes on network television.
Or Flow Sports or something.
Well, they're not going to do that. But, I mean, the SEC networks is, I guess, Network Plus is as primitive as it gets. But you just think about what else is on TV. Well, through at least the first weekend in December, you got conference championship football games. CBS has the Army-Navy game the following weekend, generally on that Saturday. There's just not a lot of play. And then the NFL starts playing games on Saturday. College basketball just doesn't have enough real estate till January and really till the NFL, finishes up to get games like that on. And by then you're in conference play and everybody's got their league networks and assignments, but there's just not many places outside of ESPN, ESPN2 where they can shoehorn a game like that in.
It's hard to get in the mix on this.
Yeah.
Mentioned earlier,
and it's a problem for the sport.
Yeah. Mentioned earlier this week that Tusk the Sixth, we believe, is making his first public appearance with Razorback fans this Saturday at Hogtown. Georgia's introducing Boom, who will take place as Uga the 11th. That XI is 11, right? Roman numeral wise?
I believe that'd be right, yeah.
He's doing his first appearance at Georgia spring game. He's got a big legacy to keep up with. Uga the 10th retired as the Bulldogs' winningest mascot in program history. So for Boom, who takes over that steed, is big shoes to fill this Saturday.
Live mascots are one of the unique things in particularly the South and in college sports.
Yeah.
I mean, just, Mike the Tiger and, Tusk.
Have you seen that Tiger exhibit? You've been to Baton Rouge.
I have not been to Baton Rouge.
Okay. It's cool. I mean, you say what you want about LSU, Baton Rouge.
I mean, I've been through there, but I have not been to a game. It doesn't count. Driving through doesn't count.
It's intimidating. They try and intimidate you in Death Valley. I haven't been to Death Valley for a game. They do go to Baton Rouge early on this year, which is kind of weird, but that's the setup. I will say this. Not only was it fun to watch Arkansas demolish Auburn in Jordan-Hare Stadium this year, but that Eagle, seeing that live for the first time, you talk about the Southern college football mascot.
Pageantry and tradition.
Yeah, it is. And they weren't even good this year. They were horrible. But still, that was the most hype that fan base got during that game.
There's just certain things. When Arkansas played Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl, and I wanted to be in position when they dotted the I in Script, Ohio. That's one of those things that you may never see in person again. So I mean, I know that's not a Southern thing. The Eagle at Auburn, all those things are just you don't really find them outside of college sports and out of college football traditions, really, where they're born out.
Just changed it up a little bit. That is your SEC update this morning.
It is brought to you by the Smithwick Original, suspending Rattling Rogue. If you're fishing on the lakes, which can still have some cool water right now, or maybe you're going to the White River for a big brown or rainbow, take along this Rogue. The Smithwick Original suspending Rattling Rogue has that famous rolling action that it's used for more than 100 years. You can work it in a heavy current or in slower water, and it'll suspend and stay in the strike zone longer, helping you catch more fish. Find the Smithwick Original suspending Rattling Rogue at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
So I shared my beef this morning that you got to pay $250 for the Final Four, and they'll place you up top in a bad position. It's in Phoenix next year, right? I know some of you have been to Scottsdale, so it's a cool location. But even if you don't get selected as a Final Four participant, it's $25. Do you have to pay a fee for entering the Masters ticket?
No, sir.
I didn't think so. So that's my beat this morning because I love college basketball. It's my favorite sport. But sometimes I think with their ticketing system in the postseason, it's stupid. That's my beat.
And I'm not certain. My guess would be the NCAA has all of these requests to process, and it's just become crushing to them. The reason the Masters is so good with their app, I mean, if you watched any of that on the Masters app, it's like perfection. And if you go find a golfer, you can hit. I want to see their third shot on the fourth hole. Boom, it's right there in seconds. Why? Because their partner is who? IBM. You know, the NCAA doesn't spend the money to get the technology and the experts to streamline this stuff. And I would imagine the reason they want to charge us $25, number one, to make the money. Number two, it'll slow down how many requests they get. So it may actually raise your odds of getting tickets and getting better seats at the Final Four. When you have, everybody thinks everything's free. Free shipping on Amazon, free drinks in the north end zone, free this. It's not free. It's factored in. So, I mean, when the line is free to get in the lottery, you get overrun with it, and then you can't manage it. And I think they're just probably trying to manage the demand right now.
Yeah.
You go to Sam's to get a free car wash now. If you got you got to wait in line an hour and a half. Well, I ain't doing that. So if you just charge something, it'd run off all the people that want free. Free generally bogs the system down.
That makes sense. Other things we discussed this morning, you can find it in our Bud Light Morning Rush podcast that will be out later this morning. Talked about the spring game. Sam Pittman had a few things to say. You can find that conversation on hitthatline.com and our YouTube channel as well. Did you get a chance to listen to...
If you want to beef, hang on, let's go back. If you want to beef, and I'll just stay on the ticket thing. I don't want to get into politics and running for office, but if I was, one thing on my platform, we would outlaw Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, StubHub, and all these people from using these algorithms and these computers to suck up all the tickets so that John Q. Public has no chance to buy a ticket at a reasonable price. Because that's what happens on the Final Four. And I bet you Ticketmaster's not going to pay $25 an application. The problem is all these guys somehow have figured out, and it's because they're smarter than the average bear, how to move to the front of the line. But they've shafted all of us out of our favorite concert or favorite artist or the event we want to see, and now we got to come up with a mortgage payment if you want to see Chris Stapleton perform live, or you want to go see Taylor Swift, or whatever. Some of the, it's not just sports. That's the problem that the NCAA and all these ticket promoters and concert promoters need to solve is how do you get the real fans in the venue without having to mortgage a kidney? That's my beef is Ticketmaster shouldn't be given the luxury of basically being holding everybody hostage on everything you want to go to.
Here's my question to you. I spent $200 on Morgan Wallen, Parker McCollum, Bailey Zimmerman. I think Ernest is the other guy that's attached. It's 4 artists and within one concert. It's at Busch Stadium later on in July. Is that a ripoff? Is that a good deal? Am I getting a good deal for 4 artists? I don't know.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But my point is, what's the face value on that ticket? If you had and any more physical tickets don't exist hardly, but if you bought it directly from the event.
I did. It was the pre-sale thing.
Okay, so you didn't have to, maybe they administered it through Ticketmaster. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the problem is then it becomes secondary market where, hey, that ticket that's $125, just say, if you want to sit on the floor in a good section in the lower bowl at Simmons Bank in Little Rock or BOK in Tulsa, what would be a $125 ticket with minimal service fees is now $215 plus service fees. And I don't understand why we need to charge somebody now that we can't charge shipping because we don't ship them. Now we got a $9 fee or whatever for electronic transfer. So what does that mean? You're going to charge me to send an email? I just think you shaft the real fan that makes all this go. And artists, teams, leagues need to stop it. They're the ones that can put a stop to it because they're the performers.
You might win a election campaign if you run on solely that.
It's just crazy. I mean, it's just it's gouging is what it is.
They don't do that for high school.
Listen, if I owned Ticketmaster, I'd have a different opinion, but I don't. And I just think they hold everybody hostage.
How do they do that within high school sports in the state? It's not that extravagant.
Well, they got
crazy.
their own deal. No, I mean,
Okay.
but that's a whole other thing that now you can't go to the gate for a high school game and hand your $5 over and get in. Now you gotta buy a ticket online. That's miffed a lot. And listen, I can't complain because I don't pay to get in high school sporting events, but I know there are a lot of people that are frustrated, not just because it's an online deal, but then there's a service fee to use your debit card. You don't have an option. So now what should be a $5 or $6 ticket, it becomes $1 more or whatever.
I noticed that. I went to my first high school game for the first time in a while this past year, and I was flabbergasted. I'd stopped by the bank to get cash before, thinking that was the only way I could pay.
Well,
and then I had to download that app, go through hoops.
There was some talk in the state legislature this past session. I don't know that it passed. I don't follow it close enough. That cash must be accepted for all transactions. You cannot, and I don't know if they passed that law, but it wouldn't be horrible if they passed a law in our state that says you can't deny someone paying for something with cash. Because you go to a convenience store, you go to a restaurant, you go to a retailer, they would now want to tack 3% on to use a debit or credit card. You ought to have the option to pay cash anywhere. If you can't hire employees you trust to deal with cash, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem as a consumer.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. By the way, it's National Grilled Cheese Tommy Day today. I have not had a grilled cheese in years.
Give me a grilled cheese and a cup of tomato soup.
That's a great combo. Really appreciate everyone joining us today here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. For Tommy Kraft, Chuck Barrett, and Christian Johnston on the board, I'm Ty Richardson. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Recruiting Thursday at 6 a.m. Have a great day, everybody.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.